Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. Good job being here early, and a big old good job to Ebs over on D Live. Glad you're here, and you get the award for first comment of the day. Hello everyone else coming in across the internet, YouTube, I see you, Facebook, I see you all. Now, we're going to get the show started here pretty dang soon, been a little over a minute. But as usual, I want to remind you, there's still time to become a producer for today's show. And there's room. We got room for producers. So go on, head over to CanaryCry.radio.com/support. Or you can head on over to CanaryCry.Party to see all the fun links. You can become a producer, join the social media networks. Make sure to subscribe to other platforms. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's really helpful for us, and most of all helpful for you, to make sure you never miss a show. And I'll do another push for the newsletter. People have been, we've gotten a lot of great responses to the newsletter we send out every week, mainly with all the show notes from every episode. It's a great way to decentralize the sources. Remember, sources are everything, especially when you're talking to your normie friends and you're trying to back up, some very obvious point you're trying to make, and they just won't believe you unless CNN tells them so. Well, we send out all of our sources every week. Just head on over to CanaryCry.Party. There you'll see a button for the newsletter. Click on that. Sign up, baby. Get in the zone. AutoZone. All right, folks. Let's get the show started. Buckle your seatbelt. Stay hydrated. Please drink some water. All right, here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is September 15th, 2021. This is episode 389. And today, CLOWNIFORNIA. That's right. And howdy doody, folks. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, your depressed Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. How you doing over there, Spunkwater?
Oh, stop. Cons! You can't repeat mean things that somebody says on Twitter, especially because it's very inappropriate.
Okay.
I apologize, everyone, for that. Sometimes Gonz just doesn't know any better. But as you can see, if you're watching the video, Gonz is in sackcloth and ashes. He is in a period of mourning. In fact, we're all in a period of mourning. I really do legitimately feel bad for you, Gonz.
Your prediction didn't come true, false prophet, and neither did mine. So I guess we're all a bunch of false prophets around here.
Gonz, leave Twitter on Twitter, man.
No, I'm just saying we made a prediction about who's going to be who's going to replace Newsom. Apparently, it was Newsom. Gavin replaced Gavin.
Well, to be fair, once Nancy Pelosi came out and said that she's got her operatives on it,
yeah, I know.
I think we both really knew that it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah. Well,
so there you go. If you haven't caught on yet, the California recall failed.
No. What happened was Newsom science worked.
It's Newsom science, baby! Ha!
Having connection issues over here. Yeah. So, Newsom survives recall effort, says he's humbled by support. And I was looking at the numbers here. And total voter turnout, 9.176 million, 41% of the state's total of more than 22 million registered voters, which is a pretty good turnout. The no votes totaled 5.8 million. Yes votes 3.2. And one of the things that's interesting is I live in Orange County, California. Mm-hmm. And in Orange County, 52% voted no, 464,000. And the people that voted yes to the recall, 418,000, 49%. Pretty close, but it's weird because, I mean, maybe I don't get out enough, but I mean, maybe all the people that are Newsom supporters are just all quarantining in their house or something, because I literally didn't run into anyone in my, just going around town and stuff. The people were like, yeah, we got to get rid of Newsom. Signs everywhere. There was no pro Newsom thing out here.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
You're in Orange County, which is a little bit more conservative. But
it is, but still, it's still weird.
I think I still hold that the Republican mistake was pushing Larry Elder. Nah. I think because that gave the Newsom crowd, the Democrats, a chance where it wasn't a referendum on Newsom. It was supposed to be, did Newsom do bad or good? This is what the recall is.
Right.
But because Larry Elder made it to the front of the pack, and he's sort of widely compared to Trump, that it then became, it's not about is Newsom good or bad? It's what do you want, Newsom or Trump?
Yeah, well, I mean, Biden put it best.
I'm going to make this as simple as I can. You either keep Gavin Newsom as your governor, or you'll get Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
This is literally true, folks. Trump is running for governor of California. Oh, jeez. I know. Well, I think that was the problem. And as much as we like to joke about it, the Caitlyn thing, I still think Caitlyn's campaign was the most solidly moderate conservative that could have at least not given the Democrats the ammunition of comparing Larry to Trump.
Do you know where Caitlyn finished?
No, I have no idea.
Well, I know Kevin Paffrath finished third, my YouTuber.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know where Caitlyn Jenner finished.
I haven't even looked.
Not in the top three. So at least we know that.
Who got second? Oh, Larry Elder.
Larry.
I guess.
Yeah, Larry. I guess is the.
Well,
I think so.
Okay. I don't know how the math works out on that, but
because it was 52%.
The referendum itself failed, so it's not like Newsom could be in first place. There would have been the vote. Larry probably in first, somebody in second, and then Kevin in third.
Yeah, I thought I had that pulled up somewhere. I was looking at a bunch of stuff earlier today, and well, at least my Kevin beat I Am Vaccine Kevin. So there's that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, honestly, just all joking aside, I'm worried for you, buddy. I'm worried about your state. I'm worried about your brain. I'm worried about everything.
It's more of the same as what we've had. And when's the election? It's coming up next year, right? So it's not like it's 4 more years of Newsom or something like that.
That's true. So. He does have another election next year. Here's the thing, though. Well, see, okay, I was going to make a point that, if Newsom was this bad under threat of recall, I hate to see what he's like when he's not under threat of recall. But I guess he still is technically up for election next year, so maybe he won't go completely hog wild.
Yeah, and he had to pull out all the stops for this one. He had Biden fly out to California. Do you know how hard it is for a man of his level to fly across the country?
They definitely. I mean, the altitude's tough. Not good for his joints, man.
Yeah.
They really, really pulled out all the stops for Newsom.
Obama made a video. Kamala came out screaming into the mic. I mean, the whole deal, Mm-hmm. So I feel like this was all or nothing for Newsom, and I think they probably rigged some stuff. I mean, I don't know. The sentiment, just boots on the ground sentiment, has been, oh yeah, Newsom's getting voted out, no problem. But it definitely changed in the last week, and then just, I don't know. I just don't believe the numbers. The numbers are really kind of weird, man.
They don't quite make sense. The thing, look, I'm not here to just claim voter fraud for no reason or election fraud for no reason, and I don't have any real evidence. The one thing that was interesting to me was somebody showed that with the mail-in ballots, you could just shine a light on the like an iPhone light on the other side of the envelope, and you could see if they voted yes or no.
Yeah,
this just doesn't seem
so. Like, I mean, okay, not a straight rig, but if you did go into like a booth and voted, apparently, and I saw a video of this. I didn't vote in person, so I don't know, but you had to click like 8 pages to get to Larry Elder because that was the biggest threat, So I mean, there's that, and then. Yeah, and I don't know how common this is for mail-in, but you sign your name on the envelope and everything else. The ballot itself, there's nothing where you verify that you voted. Like on the ballot itself, it's literally just a yes, no, and then who do you pick?
Yeah, you don't have to sign it. Or anything?
There's no signature, nothing.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, that's strange. I mean, that is
very strange.
That's really. Grounds to just like here, I'm gonna have a bunch of votes.
Yeah.
You don't even need envelopes.
It's a bad system.
Horrible system.
The system at least is susceptible to easy manipulation. If not, there was
Yeah, and when Twitter started trending last night, and it said claims of voter fraud in California recall election, unsubstantiated, baseless. According to the Associated Press and PolitiFact. And my point was like, that's the issue. Why isn't there a way for us to publicly verify this or publicly audit something like an election? It should be very easily done. Yet we don't, and we know why. So anyway, it's just I got mad over the fact that mad over the fact that we don't have more transparency when it comes to voting, but whatever. A lot of this is selected, not elected anyway. So good effort by what's his name, Elder. I don't know do you think he's going to be back next year to try to dethrone Newsom?
That's a good question. Yeah, this could have just been like a little warm up. Again, I don't even think Larry Elder's really a good candidate or the best candidate, like a realistic one. If you're a fan of Trump, Larry's fun because he's kind of Trumpian. But as far as a realistic, electable California governor, I don't think he was ever that.
But I mean, we had Arnold as governor here. It's not like the bar is set super high here.
He fits right in, man. Screw your freedom. That's California politics in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Screw your freedom.
All right, what else you got?
Hold on one second.
Screw your freedom.
I'm having problems with this connection here.
Screw your freedom.
All right, sorry, I'm just playing that.
Is this a bit? Are you doing a skit?
No. I'm trying to fix the connection here. So.
Okay.
All right, because there's some stereo issues. Okay. And I was already sad yesterday because hearing about the passing of comedian Norm Macdonald. And first off, I was very surprised at the number of people that were like, "Oh my gosh, Norm Macdonald passed away." I grew up watching Norm on Saturday Night Live when I was a kid, like 10, 11, 12, 13. That age range. You stand up late on Saturday. I was watching Saturday Night Live. So, and Dirty Works, the movie. So I kind of grew up watching Norm and just thought Norm was... I loved his just attitude. It was just, everyone has an impression of Norm. But on top of everything else, in recent years, he was a professing Christian, and not all his views were, whatever. Like, you're not going to always agree with every Christian even, but he was a professing Christian. And I just thought it was sad to see him go at age 61. And very interesting that he didn't tell anybody that he had cancer, and he was battling cancer for 9 years.
That's crazy.
That's
a long time.
Crazy. That is a long time to not tell. I think some people were saying he didn't even tell some of his family.
16 for 20. That's 15% of his whole life.
Yeah.
He was battling cancer. Interesting.
Yeah. And there was an interview of him talking about that concept a few years ago, saying like, well, if you announce to everybody that you have cancer. It's kind of like you're looking for sympathy. It's the height of narcissism. And all this
You're the
kind of
cancer
stuff.
guy.
You're the cancer guy, which is partly true, but also not always. You know, there's something to be said about that. But I mean, he just wanted to keep it private, and there's something to be said about that as well. But I have some clips just to honor the man who declared his faith in Christ publicly, and to set up some of these clips. First off, I just want to say, AP News reported Kim Jong-un's sister warns of destruction of South Korean ties. Just be scared, right?
Okay.
Be afraid.
Scared.
And I thought this clip, just to memorialize Norm here, was very apropos in this 33-second clip from Letterman.
I watch the TV, I watch the news, make you afraid, the news, put all these stories on, Iraq, Iran, North Korea, try to scare you, But does it ever really scare you? Like, you ever wake up in the middle of the night, North Korea! That little tiny country across the ocean. I wonder if they'll get me. Plus, didn't MASH settle that like 20 years ago?
Did you ever watch MASH?
Yeah, on accident.
On accident when you were a kid.
It was Nick at Night or something.
It was the whole thing took place in Korea, so that was the reference there. Let's see. I have a couple Hitler things from Norm.
Great.
Do you want me to play them now, or you want?
I don't know. That's up to you, man.
All right. Well, let's just go through these.
Okay.
This is Norm. Previous time on Letterman, talking about Hitler.
With Hitler, the more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him. I can't. Yeah. And there's nothing redeeming about the guy. I tell the guys, I go, how on earth could these Germans follow this lunatic, And they're like, he was an incredible public speaker, he could hypnotize you with his public speaking. And then I see him, he's like, correctly, I go, what? That's not my idea of a silver-tongued devil,
Yeah, he was good with awkward silences and awkward moments. That was kind of his thing. Here's the German joke that connects with that. It's a little bit longer, about a minute and a half, but I'll just play it.
There is one country that worries me, though. Not Iraq, not Iran, not North Korea. The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but... in the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world. That had never been tried before. And so you figure that would take about 5 seconds for the world to win, but no, it was actually close. About 30 years pass, and Germany decides again to go to war, and again it chooses as its enemy the world. And this time they have that guy, Schrankly, Crankly, that guy, and I'm not even going to dignify him by saying his name, but I think you know what I'm talking. But you'd think at that point the world will go, listen, Germany, here's the deal. You don't get to be a country no more on account of you keep attacking the world. What do you think, you're Mars or something?
I thought that part was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. 61, too young.
Way too young.
9 years of fighting cancer. That's a long time fighting cancer. And, excuse me, certainly a lot of people love the guy. So,
yeah,
there you go. I don't like it when there's one less funny person in the world.
I know.
We need more funny people nowadays, not less.
I have just a couple more. These aren't jokes. This is just because I think a lot of people see Norm as like, oh, this funny guy, he just doesn't care. He was a comedian and all this kind of stuff. But when he talked about his faith, it was kind of interesting because, you know, as time went on, especially more recently, it has not been popular if you're in entertainment, to discuss your faith. So this was Norm on Larry King, talking about his faith and about science as well. Flat earthers might get a little triggered, but we'll see. You
get a lot of attention on Twitter sphere for being open about your religious views. What are they?
I'm a Christian. It's not stylish to say now.
No, are you devout?
Yeah.
You believe in the Lord?
Yes, I do. I don't have faith in science.
Really?
Well, think about it. Haven't scientists always been wrong? Like they used to think the sun went around the earth. Everybody's, hey, that's scientist. Well, he's so smart. We'll give him a white coat.
Other science refuted it.
Right, but back then, everybody at that time thought that guy was smart. Why at this time do we think that the earth goes around the sun?
Did Christ think the world was flat?
Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, what an interesting retort for Larry King.
It's like,
he's you know, I mean, that is pretty sad. He's supposed to be the best interviewer ever on television. I mean, that's like his legacy, is the best interviewer. And here's Norm, you know, trying to share his faith like he was asked about, and Larry King jumps into, does Jesus think the earth is flat? What does that have to do with anything?
There's another clip. I didn't cut it for the show, but it was on Norm's show, and Larry King was on with Norm, and Larry started talking about some stuff, and Norm goes, sounds like you have a God-shaped hole in your heart. And Larry goes, what? Here's just another 18-second last one here.
I have some beliefs that are too inflammatory to even discuss, unfortunately.
Because of the way they'll be taken.
Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. Mm-hmm. And so I'll just never say them. I'll just leave them in my little head.
And I wonder what those things are. I guess we'll never know until maybe we pass through those pearly gates, Basil, but he'll be missed on this side. And, you know, I thought he was a funny comedian, but also very deep. And just, you know, he would make people mad, which is a sign that he's actually a good comedian. Mm-hmm. That, you know, because if you're just trying to make people laugh just to laugh, you know, if you're making people laugh on one side and then making people really angry on the other side, it's a sign that you're probably doing something right. You're probably hitting on some truths that emotionally charge people. So, yeah, farewell, but maybe we'll see each other again.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, and I had nowhere to put this story, so I just put it at the top right before the Flippy update.
Okay.
MySanAntonio.com. Galveston finds lawyer for strolling beach as Michael Myers with bloody knife. Did you see this?
No.
There's pictures of a guy. He's got his Michael Myers mask on.
He's got the Halloween mask. He's carrying a knife.
He's walking around. And,
he's doing it on September 13th. What was that, a couple days ago? Monday the 13th. Spooky. 13th. Real good. Which is almost its own hilarious joke.
He probably looked at, you know, what the next Friday the 13th was. He's like, it's not for a while. I should go for it on a Monday.
I mean, Monday the 13th, dressing up as being a lawyer on Monday the 13th, dressing up like Mike Myers is a pretty funny joke. So he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, but what are you doing? Like, what's your point?
Well, what was it? What is the story? Did he have a? Was there questioning? Is there a quote? Why did he do this?
According to the Galveston Daily News, the man wore a Michael Myers suit from the Halloween franchise and walked around with a fake bloody knife. Police stopped by the beach after someone called 911 and complained about the scary character.
Oh, please.
Responding officers stopped the man and put him in handcuffs, according to a Facebook post. The man was island attorney Mark Metzger. Who uploaded pictures of himself as Myers on the beach. He said the costume was a prank. Really?
Yes, he's a funny guy. It was a funny joke.
Social media posts went viral as they showed Metzger walking on the beach of him being handcuffed by the police. Authorities cited him for disorderly conduct and then released him. In a
Disorderly conduct.
In a second post made around 7:20 p.m., Metzger wrote his appearance on the beach was about, quote, bringing positive vibes to the gloom and doom out there, generating some laughter, helping people crack a smile, and restoring our faith in humanity through humor.
Yeah, okay.
So there you go. I thought it was apropos.
I like his next quote. So if taking a silly walk down... Remember, he's in a storm in a Mike Myers costume with a knife on Monday the 13th. He says, so if taking a silly walk down the beach during a storm in a costume and subsequently being arrested for disorderly conduct accomplished any of that, then I do it all again every day, Metzger wrote. Metzger mentioned the misdemeanor charge, but said he was still fuzzy about what was illegal about his actions. Okay, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get into the Flippy update.
Okay, I'm just going to leave those pictures up there for a little bit, just so people can soak in Mike Myers on the beach.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay,
yeah,
folks.
What is up with lawyers dressing up on the beach? There's somebody in the chat that reminded me. There was another lawyer a few months ago, maybe, who dressed up as a Grim Reaper.
Time ago, the Grim Reaper. Yeah, this was like last year.
Yeah, what's up with the?
I don't know, but they seem like cool guys, man.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I'm down. It's hilarious. Mike Myers is taking a gentle stroll on the beach. All right, it's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, we got an interesting report coming from the Jerusalem Post, jpost.com.
Oh, you're skipping the gas one. Okay.
It's not in there. It disappeared from our notes.
Oh, no. You got to scroll down to additional stories. I could put it back. I forgot to put it back in the notes.
We're fine. We're going. Let's just go.
Okay.
Let's just go.
All right.
Yes. And the headline is Meet Gary, the personal Israeli robot assistant for your home or office. Israel, based on limited robotics, revealed its new service robot, Gary, geared to manufacture to perform any home, business, or office chore, the company announced in a statement. Along the big reveal, the 20-team member Israeli startup also announced its new developers platform, Raya, which, quote, makes it easier for any software engineer to build robotic applications, even without prior experience in hard-coded environments. First of all, an Israeli robot named Gary is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't give it like an Israeli name. It's like some guy from Des Moines named Gary. That's the name of the robot. Also, interesting name of their software platform or their coding platform, Raya. Mm-hmm. It's kind of I'm curious what maybe
it actually means attendant, maidens, or companion.
Really?
Yes, and it also can be translated as love or variant.
Variant. Oh, we got the variant. Wait, how does love and variant?
I don't know. It's according to the Bible study tools. So
okay. Well, quote, the process of programming a robotic application is challenging and is not that simple, blah, blah, blah. They talk about how much easier they've made it to program Gary. Let's see here. Some stats. Gotta love the robo stats. He can hold up to 5 kilograms with his 2 robotic arms. That's good. It's nice and weak, so you can fight Gary off when he turns on you. Your child. He can't even pick up your child. Each arm has a different gripper to perform said tasks, such as grabbing, holding, and squeezing objects as appropriate. Squeezing. When is it appropriate to squeeze, Andrew Cuomo? This is Gary the Cuomo bot. In order to see, the robot incorporates the use of 3 different infrared and in-depth cameras to help the robot improve its performance through the extremely high processor and AI capabilities. Usually, a standard robot or an electronic device can perform only one function, said Altagar. Quote, with our technology, we are bringing a new way to build several mechanical and operational applications all in one device. And then it talks about
interesting.
Talks about the developers again. They're very heavy on the ease of softwaring.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video here and I'm playing it on the screen, but it looks like through RIAP, anybody can develop their own apps, kind of like how, you make apps for...
It's kind of like an app store for your robot butler.
Well, but I mean, anybody can build one just like it was in the Apple App Store.
Yeah.
So you can create services that Gary can do. So, the example here is like, what is this? Bring Me Stuff. The Bring Me Stuff app. Will allow Gary to bring you stuff,
Yeah. Well, and I think this is fairly genius. Not just because it's copying sort of the Apple Store model, but that's been kind of the problem with these robotics companies is, you can build the hardware, but then to write a new program for every single action, that's where a lot of these robotics companies are having trouble. But if you open it up to more of like a marketplace type of sourcing, for different softwares for the robot, I think that's going to catch on a lot faster and opens up this whole new industry of, robot app programming. It is concerning because, as was the concern with the Apple platform or these app marketplace platforms, is when you start inviting all sorts of different companies and people to create software for your hardware, you're inviting, these other companies need a way to monetize. And you can monetize one by charging for an app, but hey, nobody likes paying for apps. And so what do? You collect data. So instead of one company collecting all your robot data, now, just like your phone, you can have a dozen different companies all collecting and selling the data at the same time. So that's a little concerning. But the other part of it, here's a fun little detail. Gary the robot will be available for sale beginning in 2022. Unlimited Robotics is currently fielding a waiting list in which users will be able to become one of the first to own Gary, starting with a $99 deposit. The Unlimited Robots team further expressed their optimism with their open source platform, Raya. Unlimited Robotics notes that for any developers who have an idea to build an app on it, it would be a key factor to taking their product to the next level in providing solutions for home business owners, blah, blah, blah. So this very well could be the first available Robo Butler. And it's on this open source platform, which I generally am a big fan of open source. And I think, I know that many real techie coder type people are all fans of the open source platform. And it's what it drives innovation and it helps the economics of the thing. And even if, you could just build your own app for the robot and install it on your own robot. You don't need to sell it or anything like that, which is cool. I will say Gary is not as slick looking at the Tesla robot announced a few weeks ago. It is a pretty clunky looking fella. He's got these really long arms that can't bend at the waist or anything. So I think it has these super long arms to be able to pick something up off the floor. Not the sort of best looking robot I've ever seen, but you know what? Open source things are rarely the best looking products.
It kind of reminds me of the Baymax robot in what is it? Big Hero 6. It's got that vibe to it where it's kind of mechanical, but it's kind of, you can love it. The one thing interesting about this little video ad here is, unlimited possibilities. All you need is building it is easy. All you need, it's not about Gary or the developers. It's about you. Mm-hmm. And all you need is just imagination. And that always brings me back to Genesis 11 and the reason why God tore down the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
And verse 6, and the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they all have one language." Or programming language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. So, this endless imagination kind of talk that a lot of technology has brought is very reminiscent of the Tower of Babel and what God said would be possible because of the one language. And it's interesting that we're at this time now. It's like we're living in Noah's days all over again.
There you go. I do just another piece of data. It can only go 3 miles per hour. So, Elon Musk was bragging about how weak and how slow his robot is and how it won't take over the world. Gary's just as weak and just as slow as your robot, Elon. So cut down on the bragging.
I like the
Gary,
brag.
I love you, Gary.
I wonder if they had a meeting about what's the most or the least threatening name that we can give a robot.
Yeah, I think that was it. Gary, the most lovable name for a robot.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your Flippy update. We might actually have robot butlers by next year.
It's happening. That'll be
it's
it.
Happening.
Fulfilled.
The revolution.
Yeah.
The revolution has begun.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where am I? Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, we have we're gonna do some WACCINE stuff, but before we do, I just want to read a few headlines for you. And I guess I didn't pull up the jingle that I was supposed to pull up to talk about this section. Basically, it's about CBDCs, which just
central bank digital currencies.
Digital currencies. I will play this jingle to set it up.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Now, we played the clip last episode of the Edo State, one of the heads of Edo State, which is in Nigeria, and him saying you will not have access to your bank account unless you have a vaccine or vaccine passport. And this Bitcoin.com article here says Nigeria's CBDC, quote, a safer option than privately issued cryptocurrencies, central bank official says. And it's like,
safer.
Okay.
I love
Safer.
it being put under the label of safer. It's safe. Let us keep you safe. That's what the authorities love to use as their excuse for control.
And as many people think that Bitcoin might have something to do with the mark of the beast, the CBDCs being tied to a vaccine passport is much more likely. It's the same people running it, central banks, the IMF, the World Bank, and all that. And, coming out of Nigeria, the Nigeria's central bank official anyway, this is I think it's a sign that, hey, the money that is going to be tied to your vaccine passport is not Bitcoin. We can't regulate Bitcoin. We can't control Bitcoin, but we can control the CBDC. We can take it right out of your wallet on your phone if you misbehave. I mean, there's a lot more control.
Yeah, it's an account that they can control, so they can cut it off. They can, limit you, and they can hold it over your head.
Yeah, and just a few more headlines to read along those same lines. Bitcoinist.com: Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, South Africa set to test cross-border CBDCs. So there you go. More countries now. China. CBDC race gathers steam as more companies develop e-CNY products. And I have to do a little more digging on what exactly e-CNY is.
Yeah.
But I think it is, it's got something to do with China's central bank digital currency, the digital yuan. I think it is a digital yuan. And then India could begin trials for digital rupee by December, central bank governor says. So all these central bankers are really starting to roll out the CBDCs, and we need to keep an eye on it because this is not good. This is not a good sign. This is more control by governments, central banks, and social credit score, vaccine passport. All of that can be directly tied to your money. And if you're gonna compare it to Revelation 13 and the mark of the beast, then the CBDC is way more aligned with such prophecies than not. I mean, the
Bitcoin and
Bitcoin
other decentralized currencies.
Right.
Yeah.
And, it does bring up an interesting conversation because, a lot of people say, oh, well, Bitcoin, what if they just drop an EMP, or what if they shut off the internet and all this stuff? So here's the deal. If that happens, if the elite are like, EMP, shut everything down, then they would also have to shut down the internet. They would also have to shut down the very surveillance apparatus that they have built.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So,
and not to mention the fact that if the internet goes down or your EMP goes down, all your money.
Yeah, all your money. Yeah.
What do you? Okay, sure, you have some cash, but A, how long will that survive, or like how long will that last? And B, who's going to be taking cash? I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. We have way bigger problems if an EMP goes off.
Yeah, and some people say we'll have gold and silver. I would agree, but also in this theoretical dystopian nightmare, are people going to really want gold too? I mean, I guess maybe, but it'd be harder to trade gold. It'd be probably easier to trade bullets and cigarettes and food.
The actual bartering is the real thing there. But, I don't even want to get pulled into I think it's a straw man. The people say, don't buy Bitcoin, buy gold.
Yeah.
It's like, well, have all of it. It's all good to have.
Yeah. Ecclesiastes talks about
not saying gold is bad.
No. I'm not saying that either. It's God's money.
No, I know you're not.
So anyway, I just thought I'd set that up and just remind everybody to keep your eye on the CBDC. I don't think it's a good thing, but most people are unaware of how invasive this quote unquote money is going to be for nations all around the world.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why some nations are starting to adopt Bitcoin, while at the same time other nations are starting to push the CBDCs out.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a race.
Some are adopting Bitcoin, and some are trying to reinvent it.
Yep.
So we'll see what works.
All right, and that leads us into today's WACCINE stuff.
I am WACCINE.
I am vaccine. Vaccine, number one way.
A pandemic special.
And we'll start off here at CNY Central. And the headline is Utica Judge Blocks Medical Worker Vaccine Mandate in New York State. Okay, we've got some news here. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the state of New York from forcing medical workers to be vaccinated after a group of healthcare workers sued, saying their constitutional rights were violated. Judge David Hurd in Utica issued the order Tuesday after 17 health professionals, including doctors and nurses, claimed the vaccine mandate violated their rights because it disallows religious exemptions. The judge gave New York State until September 22nd to respond to the lawsuit in federal court in Utica. The state issued the order August 28th, requiring at least a first shot for healthcare workers at hospitals and nursing homes by September 27th. So it's not a defeat of the mandate or anything, but it at least has stalled it as they take the proper legal actions to continue to fight it. Very interesting. Utica. Come on, Utica.
Well, we often hear about New York City, and forgetting that there's a lot of state outside of the city there. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is good in some respects, but it's kind of one of those things where it feels like there's a tsunami coming, and some people are putting up little, like just a few rocks to try to withstand the wave coming down.
Yeah, by no means is this sort of a win or a final decision, but little things like this are precedent setting.
Yeah.
As one judge here, one judge there starts to at least let these things be heard in court. That will influence the decisions across the nation, as of course there's many of these legal battles happening across the United States. But there you go, just keeping up with it.
Yep. Moving on here, this is azmirror.com, and A GOP senator likened COVID vaccines to the Holocaust, tweeted a swastika, and told a Jewish group who complained to, quote, learn your history.
Oof. Oofa doofa.
You know, we try to be as balanced as possible, you know, because obviously you talk about the lefties and the Democrats and a lot of their shenanigans, but, you know, the right, the conservative side, Republican arm.
Just not really a good look for anyone to be tweeting a swastika.
Yeah, never good.
Don't tweet swastikas.
After comparing vaccine supporters to Nazis and sharing an image of needles in the shape of a swastika on social media, Republican State Senator Kelly Townsend dismissed a Jewish organization who admonished her to, quote, learn your history. On Sunday, Townsend tweeted an image, a Nazi flag made up of needles. Who wrote this? Did Gary write this?
Gary wrote it.
Gary needs a spell check. With a caption that anyone who is vaccinated and, quote, complaining about the unvaccinated are saying the vaccine doesn't work. Okay, that kind of makes sense. The Anti-Defamation League, an international Jewish organization that focuses on fighting back against anti-Semitism and hate, sharply criticized Townsend on the social media network. Quote, Townsend should delete this outrageous and offensive tweet, the Arizona chapter of the Anti-Defamation League wrote on Twitter. Quote, there is never a valid time to share this flag, which represents oppression and genocide for so many. Comparing health mandates to Nazism is highly insensitive and escalates tension around efforts to fight #COVID-19.
Yeah.
Townsend, I know.
There's quite a balance to be here. Again, I would never recommend anybody tweet out a swastika. Just in general, you know, you may be trying to make a point, but that point is not going to land.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I mean, Kelly Townsend, of course, she's trying to refer to the Nuremberg Code and the medical testing without coercion or force. And of course, there is important conversations to be had about this. But yeah, tweeting out a swastika is not a good way to start this conversation.
And this is an example of going to the extremes and then both sides, and then polarizing both sides, so that no real conversation can be had. It's just
because now what it's doing is putting certain conservatives or just conservatives in an interesting position where they're like being asked to defend tweeting Nazi symbols.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which is not a good position to be in. And you shouldn't, you know, if you're a conservative out there, be careful what you're asking other conservatives to defend.
Yeah. But at the same time, like the police, the anti-Semite police on the other side go a little far in terms of peddling their own thing there. Yeah. Townsend rebuked the 108-year-old Jewish organization, quote, learn your history, she retorted. I don't know what that means, though. What do you mean, learn your...
Well, I mean, again, not a good look.
I know she's referencing the Nuremberg stuff, but it's like, I don't know.
I mean, the point is she's trying to tell the Anti-Defamation League to read about the Holocaust when that's their whole thing is this is conservative, the optics, a white conservative Christian lady telling a Jewish organization to learn about the Holocaust is, again, not a good look.
Not a good look. It's low-hanging fruit for the trolls to really latch on to discredit you. I don't think we need to necessarily read the rest of it, but, you know, it's just one of those things where you got to be careful what you're defending. I think you pointed out the point that I wanted to make, which was this caused conservatives to be like, and Republicans to be like, well, what if she's making a point with the swastika, with the syringe? I mean, she's not promoting it. It's like, well, yeah, but okay, all right.
But now you're having to defend tweeting the swastika. just again, I get it. We have to deal with hard conversations all the time, but that doesn't make it any easier.
You should do what Norm did. Say that. That's the whole conversation right there.
Here's a little update for you, Gons. This is coming from statnews.com. The headline, FDA vaccine regulators argue against COVID-19 vaccine boosters in new international review.
Is this good or bad? I can't tell.
I don't know. We're going to find out. But, of course, the FDA, the politicization of the FDA, the Biden-appointed acting director of the FDA, and, of course, we've got the head of the FDA vaccine review and research department stepping down because of the iron fist of the Biden administration. And let's see what we got to say here. A group of international experts, including notably 2 outgoing Food and Drug Administration vaccine regulators, argues.
I like how you can misread that. Like, oh, they must be very social. They're really outgoing people.
They're so bubbly, so gregarious.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
A group of international experts, including notably 2 outgoing Food and Drug Administration vaccine regulators, argues in a new paper against offering COVID-19 vaccine boosters to the general population. The paper, published Monday in The Lancet, is based on a review of available data about the durability of vaccine protection. That it was co-authored by Marian Gruber and Phil Krause, 2 veteran FDA officials who have been leading the agency's review of COVID-19 vaccine application, amounts to a strikingly direct rebuff to the Biden administration as it lays plans for booster shots. Gruber and Krause announced last month they would be leaving the agency this fall. Other authors include experts from the World Health Organization, which has called for countries to delay broad booster plans, as many countries are still suffering from a lack of vaccine supply in the face of horrific outbreaks driven by highly transmissible Delta variant. Quote, current evidence does not, therefore, appear to show a need for boosting in the general population, in which efficacy against severe disease remains high, the authors wrote. The paper is sure to add to debate about whether the White House got ahead of its scientific agencies in outlining plans for general boosters, which the Biden administration had signaled would start rolling out Monday. Experts broadly agree that people with the compromised immune system should be receiving 3rd shots of the mRNA vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna, which were authorized as 2-dose courses. And some experts argue that seniors who generally mount less robust immune responses to vaccines should also be eligible for boosters. But for the general population, experts have been divided over whether boosters are necessary. Some argue that a 3rd shot, or in the case of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine, a 2nd shot, should really be considered part of the initial dosing plan, while others say there is no evidence that the vaccines are losing any strength at protecting people from hospitalization or death from COVID-19. The worst outcomes that the shots were primarily designed to guard against. Quote, even if boosting were eventually shown to decrease the medium-term risk of serious disease, current vaccine supplies could save more lives if used in previously unvaccinated populations and if used as boosters, in vaccinated populations, the paper states. The authors acknowledge that
that's kind of disappointing.
Well, they can't take an anti-vaccine stance. It's and again, remember these FDA officials who stepped down, they're not necessarily anti-vax people. They're just trying to the statement that they're making more so is that the Biden administration is no longer listening to the science. They're just politicizing the vaccines. They're trying to push boosters for political gain because, of course, Biden needs to get his approval numbers up. Almost done here. Let's see where we're. The authors acknowledge that boosting could eventually be needed for the general population if immunity wanes or a variant emerges that significantly undercuts the vaccine's power. Ooh, the vaccine's power. They also point to data showing that the Delta variant is leading to more symptomatic breakthrough infections than other variants. But they add that the message that boosting might soon be needed is not justified by robust data and analysis, could adversely affect confidence in vaccines and undermine messaging about the value of primary vaccination. Pointing to the possibility of side effects from boosters' doses, the authors write that, quote, if unnecessary boosting causes significant adverse reactions, there could be implications for vaccine acceptance that go beyond COVID-19 vaccine. Why would they be worried about adverse reactions? The news tells me that there's no adverse reactions. Not a single one has been reported, except for all those teen boys having heart attacks. The FDA, fake news, sorry. All those teen boys are getting myocarditis. The FDA, meanwhile, is convening its vaccine advisory committee for a public meeting Friday to discuss Pfizer's application for COVID-19 boosters, at which the topic of whether boosters are necessary is sure to come up. So there you go. As if the FDA officials stepping down in protest of political intervention within the FDA, they went ahead and teamed up with an international team to write a paper and put it out in the Lancet, rebuffing this Biden administration push.
It's interesting because you know, as you mentioned, these are pro-vax people, but they've been pushed to this point where, you know, at a certain I guess like a threshold where they're like, well, no, not this thing. Like, all the rest, but the booster thing, no science whatsoever.
Well, you know, they got to draw the line somewhere, and with the amount of, I'd say, the limit testing that the Biden administration has been participating in. You know, testing the limits. How far can we push people? How far can we push the public? How far can we push our health organizations? How far can we push nurses and doctors and vaccine hesitancers? How far can we push them? You know, I think they're finding a limit as to how long these FDA officials will play along with the politicization. And, you know, this is good. You know, whether or not these FDA officials are full on vaccine hesitant and want to give freedom to everybody or whatever, which they certainly are not like icons of vaccine hesitant movement, which we shouldn't even require that of them. I mean, this is just where they feel the line should be drawn. And, you know, everybody's starting to find where the line should be drawn for them. And I think it speaks volumes about these FDA officials pushing back against political manipulation within the FDA, because it's certainly part of a bigger program, bigger plan, and bigger overall issue.
Yeah.
And this article and this paper in the Lancet, remember, if you join our newsletter, go to CanaryCry.Party, hit the newsletter button, join the newsletter. At the end of the week, we'll be sending out all these sources. And having this source just in your back pocket, this Lancet article, you know, will help you in your conversations with people in your life.
Yeah, and I have another, just real briefly, another article that might come in handy along these same lines with the FDA, but this was published a little bit earlier this year. June 27th was when this was published. It's an opinion piece, but it was in Business Insider. It was published there. And the headline is, "The FDA is broken. Its controversial approval of an ineffective new Alzheimer's drug proves the agency puts profit over public health."
Yeah.
This did not get a lot of play, by the way.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, 3 comments, 196, whatever. So this had to do with an Alzheimer's drug. And the author here points out that we must get money out of science to have safe and effective drugs. And then P.E. Moskowitz is an author and runs mental health and newsletter about capitalism and psychology. And so this, according to the story, this drug for Alzheimer's was approved by the FDA. So there was an 11-member panel of experts. And it says here, no one on the 11-member panel agreed with drug maker Biogen's claim that the drug could help with cognitive decline in early Alzheimer's patients, but the FDA approved the drug anyway. And then later in the article, it says, based on the agency's history, it is clear that the FDA has a pattern of approving drugs that show little to no efficacy, especially for mental health medication. And then the problem extends far beyond SSRIs. According to one 2013 analysis, which I'll show in a moment here, a whopping 90% of drugs approved by the FDA in the previous 30 years are little or no more effective than existing drugs. So, and that study is legit. I mean, this is like an SSRN paper. It was published on June 20th, 2013, and the title of the paper is Institutional Corruption of Pharmaceuticals and the Myth of Safe and Effective Drugs. And it really goes after the FDA. So I just don't understand when people are just blindly accepting the FDA as like, oh, hey, their government, they wouldn't lie to us, or, other reasoning, and just accepting what they peddle out there. I mean, I don't know. It's just... The evidence is clear. I think the whole thing with the two vaccine regulators stepping away is sort of icing on the cake when it comes to all the other information that's been out there. Not fringe blogs talking about it, mainstream media like Business Insider talking about the problem with the FDA, the conflicts of interest, and everything else.
Yeah.
So,
On the other hand, just to get a little conspiratorial about it, maybe, it's after the Fauci stuff, after the CDC stuff, after the blatant, just tomfoolery by authorities and regulations and regulators and organizations like that. It's almost like adding the FDA into this is just normalizing the nonsense of quote unquote health authorities. It's like there isn't a single health authority that hasn't been plagued by these types of problems, by lies, by political interventions, by the pressure to push a storyline that goes against the science. It's just a normal part of these organizations now, which is too bad. It's what it is.
It's just to kind of follow the rabbit hole there. Where is it leading? And I reckon that eventually it's got to be part of a great reset type of situation where they build transparency or build some kind of new system that draws people in.
Sure.
That allows us to, that makes it seem like we have more control over our information or whatever. But ultimately it's a lot more, but more surveillance, more of a who's watching us. Oh, we got to, if you want transparency, then we all must participate in it. Give us your DNA kind of thing, that sort of level of...
Give us your DNA.
Well, you joke, but it's true. It's like, well, we got to make sure that everybody that's participating in the world is, that they're safe, that they have COVID antibodies and whatever else. So,
yeah, I mean, certainly control mechanism is one of the end goals.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you go.
This is from relevantmagazine.com. Support.
Oh, good.
Yeah, remember Relevant? You love Relevant.
Great publication.
Yeah, they had the Why Won't Christians Get Vaccinated article.
Well, they made so many great points.
I know. You got so mad. It's so funny. And by the way, that article got 1,000 shares. Real big compared to other stories that get less than 50. A lot of stories don't get shared. I wonder if we're responsible for helping that article get shared.
Possibly.
Support for religious exemptions to vaccines is falling across the U.S. The COVID-19 crisis is intensifying across the nation. Is it really? I don't think it is. With hospital beds filling up to new highs in places like Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama.
Oh, in 3 places that we cherry-picked to make our point.
These are hyperlinked. The one is to CNN.
Good.
The other one's
Relevant Magazine linking to CNN. Love it.
The other ones are to tweets. One's a Twitter CNN. Anyway, whatever.
Hey, tweets. That's a primary source nowadays.
I know. With experts anticipating 100,000 more deaths by December if America doesn't change its approach, many Americans are starting to lose patience with vaccine skeptics. Another mention of losing patience.
Yeah, Biden's losing patience. Daddy's so mad at us.
By the way, you did that whole Biden daddy bit, and I it was knocking around in my head. I was going to say something about Hunter Biden, but I didn't. But I just thought it
probably
was
for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. But yeah, I thought it came to mind is all I want to say.
Yeah.
Many Americans are starting to lose patience with vaccine skeptics. In March, 56% of U.S. adults were in favor of offering religious exemption to the vaccine. Now that number has dropped to 52%, according to the Public Religion Institute. President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate for private employers with more than 100 employees has stirred strong feelings in some corners of the country, but overall, most Americans don't see it as a violation of religious freedom. In a recent survey that pitched the story of a hypothetical kid who wasn't allowed to enroll at a public school because she wasn't vaccinated, only 26% took the kid's side. Okay. Still, the majority opinion may not matter much, as America's courts have tended to apply First Amendment protections to cases of religious freedom very liberally. It's a complicated situation. In the U.S., very few religious groups formally oppose vaccinations. Vaccines have been relatively uncontroversial among most faith communities for decades, and even in recent months, prominent religious leaders such as Pope Francis, the bastion of Christianity, Pope Francis, to Dr. Russell Moore have urged people to get vaccinated against COVID-19. One former pastor wrote an op-ed for the New York Times, that says a lot, saying he did not believe in religious exemption for the vaccine and arguing that using God as an excuse to refuse vaccination is a form of taking his name in vain.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
However, established religious leaders are often no longer seen as the trusted sources of religious information they once were. Okay. Social media has opened up new channels for the faithful to find new leaders, and many such religious influencers hold significant sway. Such leaders may be skeptical about the vaccine for a number of reasons, from the use of fetal stem cells in some vaccine research to a belief that taking the vaccine betrays a lack of faith in God's protection. In some very rare cases, the vaccine may be tied to government microchips or even the mark of the beast. But for the most part, vaccine skeptics are taking more of a wait-and-see approach to get vaccinated. Religious objections provide a broad umbrella for all such hesitations, since courts don't require people to prove their religious objections are sincerely held. People can sincerely believe an interpretation of biblical teaching that forbid them from getting vaccinated, but they don't have to. In the U.S., you can say vaccination is a violation of your Jedi oaths if you want. That's a good idea. Someone should do that.
Yeah, isn't Jediism?
Yeah, it's like a real thing,
a federally recognized religion.
Yeah, I thought so. I know there was something along those lines a couple
years ago. Yeah.
As Robin Fretwell Wilson, director of the Institute of Government and Public Affairs for the University of Illinois System, told Deseret News, quote, "Heretics have as much a claim to religious freedom as the Orthodox. Private employers have a little more power than the federal government does in these cases, but not many will be looking for a fight that publicly contentious." In our fall issue, Relevance spoke with Dr. Francis Collins, the Vatican scientist, whatever guy, and folk singer, director of the National Institute of Health. He said that, quote, "Science is a gift from God, and we were given intelligence and the ability to be curious to find out how things work in this universe that we've been given. Quote, why would that not be an appropriate activity, even a form of worship? After all, what are we doing? We're uncovering the mysteries of what the Creator has given us." So that's it. I mean, I don't know, there's not much there.
Relevant magazine doing its best
4% drop in according to this one place.
Yeah.
The point that I'm it's not a concern really, but I do think it's very interesting how everything is becoming more not just polarized, but I am sensing more and more of this call for transparency. Like, notice how, like, oh, you can say you're religious, but you don't have to prove it, Right. And it's kind of like, well, what would you do to prove you are that or you believe it, other than what? A surveillance mechanism, making sure that I abide by what I say I believe every minute of the day, or like, what are you talking about?
It is a weird thing, man. Yeah, prove what you believe.
Yeah, so
prove to us you're a Christian.
and then we will be the judge, Relevant Magazine, if you are actually telling the truth. Yeah, it's just very strange. But anyway, I like to throw in Relevant Magazine in there every once in a while to see if you get triggered.
I know, and you trigger me every time.
Good.
Speaking of triggered, let's check in on Australia.
Oh, no.
Got some Australian listeners who have been keeping us abreast of what's going on. And we'll start out with a nice Gateway Pundit article. Of course, these guys lean far to the right here. But we'll see how they're presenting it. This is from the gatewaypundit.com, and the headline, an inside look at Australia's mandatory quarantine camps, a dystopian reality in 2021 where travelers are confined like animals at the zoo. They got a people zoo, Gons.
I know.
You got a people zoo in Australia. Earlier this week, Australia's public health chief, Dr. Kerry Chant, casually dropped the bombshell when she admitted that the country will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. Dr. Chant's seemingly blatant nod to what has been called the Great Reset set social media ablaze, which naturally kicked the fact-checkers into high gear. Of course, using the term could be a coincidence, but when you take a closer look at some of the Orwellian and downright authoritarian COVID restrictions that have been forced onto Australian citizens, it sounds a little less crazy that the country would be setting the precedent for something much more sinister. Let's see here. What is it? They put some stuff in bold. Is that part of the thing? Australia has mandated the harshest restrictions of any Western nation since the pandemic began. The most shocking example of their freedom-crushing tyranny is their so-called mandatory quarantine centers for travelers. Then there's a little link here. Construction on the camps has been underway since the beginning of the year, and they expect all of them to be fully operational in early 2022. The first site that was turned into one of these vaccination camps, the Howard Springs Quarantine Facility, has been operational for a few months and serves as the blueprint to all the other locations. The dystopian facility is a former mining camp on the northern tip of the country and has row after row of, quote, cabins that can isolate individuals who need a little break from personal liberties and freedom. Why don't you just take a little break from all your personal liberties and freedom? And they have a tweet here that has a overhead photo of this camp, the Howard Springs Quarantine Facility. Mm-hmm. And it just looks straight up like a concentration camp.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, how does that not just trigger everybody? You see the pictures of the concentration camps throughout history in many different instances, and they all look the same. They just look like big prison towns. Travelers who are forced into the facility are confined to their pod, which has a pod. It's like the kids in pods at the southern border of America, where Biden has trapped children in pods, twice as many that Trump did.
They should just have everybody equipped to become podcasters.
Oh, yeah. They put a little podcasting station in each one of these. That's just what the world needs. More people with more time on their hands to make more podcasts.
By the way, I just pulled up an image from the movie District 9. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
And, wow. I mean, looks very, if you do a side-by-side comparison as I'm doing here, you look at the District 9 camps for the aliens.
Yeah, for those who have never seen District 9, it's an interesting sort of like I don't know, alternative future of aliens coming down, where the aliens come down to Earth, but instead of them taking over the Earth, we just like put them in concentration camps and make them second-class citizens. Really good movie.
Yeah, it looks very the facilities in Australia look like the beginnings of what District 9 turned into, you know. It's kind of like you know, when they first built it, it's all fresh and clean, and then by the end it's going to look pretty dystopian, like it does with the, you know, the bug aliens running around with laser blasters or whatever, it was in the movie.
I want to watch that again. Travelers who are forced into the facility are confined to their pod, which has a small porch for them to get fresh air. Oh, that's nice. The residents are pushed bags of food by workers dressed head to toe in blue sterile protective gear as they pass by with the meal trolley. Again, remember, these people are not sick.
Yeah.
These are healthy people who are traveling back into the country, forced to quarantine, and yet they're being treated as if they're deadly super spreaders.
Eventually they're just going to, you know, these people dressed in blue, it's just going to be Gary. Gary's going to come by and drop off food.
Why do they even see? That's the market. That's the market that these robo-butler companies need to be looking at. Forget trying to sell these things to individual families. You get that big government contract, sell 1,000 of these suckers to the
and you can build your own app. That's a great pitch.
Yeah, you can make a destroy all humans app. You can make a, you know, punch the quarantine person in the face app. It's all good.
Yeah.
One person describes the daily meal deliveries as, quote, when you shake the bag of dog treats and the dogs come running. Oh, jeez. Wow. Even a writer for the woke New York Times compared his experience of being in the D block at the Howard Springs camp to feel like an animal at the zoo, saying that the entire group of people confined around him were irritated at first, but had essentially accepted the treatment after a short while of being there. According to him, the sweet treats they were getting fed were just too good. And this is a block quote from the New York Times writer. Quote, I wondered if an American like me could warm up to the approach. Most of us in D block, where I was placed and could talk to a few people at a safe distance from our room's verandas, arrived feeling irritated. But at some point, I noticed an attitudinal shift. Maybe we'd been softened by the desserts, the sharp lemon meringue, the lush chocolate tart. One day when the food delivery carts rumbled in, I peered down our row and noticed that we were all craning our necks, leaning out from our little balconies like animals at the zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
The camp is being built to replace Australia's traveler hotel quarantine locations, and unlike the hotels, Howard Springs has reportedly not had any breaches or security issues as of yet, but officials say they can do better. Oh, jeez, Australia, what are you doing? Elijah Schaefer of The Blaze sat down with Rebel News to discuss the tyrannical health order and how COVID-19 84 is taking over the land down under. I love the Gateway Pundit. There's no shame. No shame in how they write their stuff. All right, we're almost done here. They have some videos here that you can watch. Australian health officials are calling the experimental vaccine the golden ticket to freedom.
Oh my gosh.
How long will it be until science decides that 14 days isn't enough time for a proper quarantine? It's 14 now? Wasn't it 10? It got boosted to 14. Or that the unvaccinated deserve some time in there to think about how they are endangering the public. As noted above, Australia's public health chief already said the quiet part out loud. They are looking to see what will work so it can be repeated elsewhere. In the U.S., the CDC has already published an approach that discusses building these types of COVID internment camps using terms like green zone and shielding approach as euphemisms to make it more palatable. Green zone. I think they used that phrase in that movie Songbird.
Well, we know that I believe it was a CDC document from last year, 2020, that talked about the green zones. And then I shared an email that I received from somebody in the military locally here who showed me and I think we shared it on the show, where they're deploying some training for the
the city planner training.
Yeah. So they're going to start rolling out now that Newsom won. If you're trying to come into California, you might be stuck in one of these green zones.
They're coming for you, buddy. And, of course, the Gateway Pundit ends with, tyranny always builds gradually and then happens suddenly. If you think this is a slippery slope we are on, you are not paying attention. There you go. All right. Thanks, Gateway Pundit.
Yeah. So,
but, yeah, I mean, this is pretty spooky.
It is
pretty
very
spooky what they got going on in Australia.
Yeah. You can say, it's painted by the far right as this, that.
I mean, it is what it is. What a Doll's Life on YouTube says they can't build homeless housing, but they can build this.
I know.
Yeah, good point.
Good point. Okay, so let's look at the other side coming from the mainstream media. News.com.au. Americans slam Australia's COVID policies as their own epidemic spirals out of control.
Oh, they don't like us talking about them, Gons.
No, they don't. And actually, there was a little bit more on the actual camps, but I don't know. I think they might have changed it or taken it out of the article. We'll see here. It says, the coronavirus killed 1,700 Americans yesterday. I know we're 18 months into the pandemic and all the statistics tend to blur together, but stop for a moment and really, seriously consider what that means. 1,700 people dead in 24 hours. My gosh, can you get a little more dramatic?
I mean, we've got a lot of people in this country. It just tends to happen.
That's more victims in a single routine day than Australia has suffered throughout the entire pandemic.
Oh, so they're trying to justify all the madness.
Each of them was somebody's son or daughter, someone's best friend, a brilliant and irreplaceable human life snuffed out years or decades too soon. Many of the dead have left behind grieving parents, spouses, and young children. History is not going to remember the horrific death toll from September 9th, 2021. When the date they're referencing here. It won't even register in the context of a pandemic that has killed 4.6 million people and counting, 670,000 of them in the U.S. alone. Here's what history might remember. The indifference, the selfishness, the warped priorities of a nation that never treated this once-in-a-century crisis with the seriousness it demanded. I bring up the United States failure again, because in recent weeks, a bunch of Americans opposed to lockdowns and other public health measures have taken it upon themselves to lecture Australia about its COVID policies. In their view, the fact that Australians have made immense personal sacrifices to protect each other from the virus is a bad thing. Let's run through some examples. Quote, heretofore an honorable member of the free world, Australia has lurched into a bizarre and disturbing netherworld of bureaucratic oppression in the name of public health, wrote National Review editor Rich Lowry, denouncing Australia's COVID lockdown mania. Quote, COVID is a serious illness and no country has gotten everything right. Australia has proven, though, that dispensing with key elements of advanced liberal society in the hopes of total victory over the virus is foolhardy and wrong. Australia isn't going to become a dictatorship, but this period in its national life stands as a warning for how easily core freedoms can erode in even a well-established democracy. I'm not saying that, this is still the quote, I'm not saying they should rise up against the government, but there's some crazy poopsies going on there right now, said mega popular podcaster Joe. Oh, they switched quote person. That was Joe Rogan, that last one. Folks, people die from heart attacks in staggering numbers every year. You're not making the government force people to exercise. Heart attacks are not infectious, but I digress. That's the author of the article. Back to quotes. Normal, psychologically healthy adults see the COVID camps in Australia and think, my God, that's tyrannical madness, said conservative radio host Buck Sexton. Quote, Australia has COVID concentration camps, said author and columnist Tim Young. Quote, this is about control, not health. Some of America's most prominent TV hosts labeled Australia a, quote, COVID dictatorship. And you might have already seen the viral meme posted by the Texas Freedom Coalition, which described Australia as, quote, the world's largest prison. Quote, pray for Australia. It's almost unbelievable what is happening here or there. I'm sorry, what is happening there, the group said. Let's stipulate the obvious, that lockdowns stink and everyone will be relieved when none of the strict measures currently in place across Australia are necessary anymore. But spare us the overblown rhetoric. Tyrannical madness? Concentration camps? Oppression? If you want to see actual oppression, look at China or North Korea. Or
if you want other examples of concentration camps, that's not a great comparison to be making.
It's like if some jail in America was like, this is not a jail. Look at that jail over there on that state. Or something.
Don't look at our concentration camp. Look at China's. Oh, they look pretty similar. That's not the point.
Overblown rhetoric.
Just stop looking at ours is what we mean.
If you want to see actual oppression, look at China or North Korea or the fate Afghanistan will suffer under Taliban rule. Lowry, easily the most thoughtful among those mentioned above, accused Australia of, quote, dispensing with key elements of advanced liberal society. He was referring to things like freedom of movement. And he's not without a point. Some individual rights have been temporarily curtailed to protect public health. Okay, so they're admitting it. But there's another key element that any functioning society requires: mutual obligation. Yes, we all have individual rights, but we also have responsibilities to one another. Every liberal democracy tries to strike a balance between those two things. COVID is an extraordinary challenge. So many actions that are usually harmless, like large gatherings, are now dangerous. Are they? I don't think that's the case. In normal times, breathing on someone might give them a whiff of your bad breath. Now it might give them a lethal disease.
But what if you're vaxxed? There's so many vaxxed people. Are those vaxxed people killing people with their breath?
The calculus has changed. So Australia has adopted a perfectly reasonable strategy based on your ridiculous premise. One that should be easily enough to grasp even from the other side of the Pacific. Contain COVID as much as possible until enough people are vaccinated to mitigate the risk it poses. The guiding principles here is that your desire to do whatever you want is not more important than protecting the lives of those around you. In the face of this extreme threat, your obligation to your community outweighs some of your freedoms. So basically, he's agreeing with Arnold.
Screw your freedom.
Most Australians seem to instinctively understand this, which is why they've been willing to endure lockdowns. Except your truckers, who seem to not be complying. The alternative is to go the American route. Lift the restrictions and hope for the best. And look at the respective results. Australia's COVID death toll is 1,066 for the entire pandemic. More Americans than that died on Thursday. At the peak of its third wave earlier this year, the U.S. was losing more than 3,000 people per day. Which of the two countries has failed? The one whose people have come together to confront the threat of COVID, making tough sacrifices, or the one which has allowed hundreds of thousands of its citizens die needlessly in the name of freedom?
Yeah, interesting. So it's been fun.
This article keeps going and going.
I know, it goes and goes, and we get it. So the Gateway Pundit article, as opposed to this News AU article, is just very interesting. Again, showing the examples of like the separate universes that people are living in. Because now, there is a large contingent of Australians who agree with the criticism that Australia is receiving from America. We know this. They're
protesting. They're riding,
marching in the streets.
They're riding white horses.
They're riding horses around. They're protesting. They themselves are saying that what's going on in Australia does not reflect the will of the people. And so, yeah, you get your far right example from the Gateway Pundit, which they're notoriously far right, which is why it's fun to read because they put everything in sort of the most ludicrous terms. But then you have this this News AU article, which is saying, yeah, you know, we have concentration camps. Sure, we're locking people away against their will. Sure, we're treating them like filthy animals, but it's for the good of the people. And certainly there are Australians who agree with that perspective as well. So, you know, the reality within one's mind is built with language, and it's just a matter of the programming in the language that each group is dealing with. But I think this second article is pretty funny because it's all based around, what, do you want to be like America where they're free but they're dying? They're dying. Well, you look up real quick the Australian population.
I'm doing all that math right now. It's 25 million.
My gosh.
Yeah,
they have less people than the
state
LA
of California.
County.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the size of Texas in terms of population.
Yeah. So there you go. And this is another example of, you know, how to lie with statistics.
Yeah, you can't do raw bottom line numbers.
You can't compare the entire country of the U.S. to the entire country of Australia. Now, what is the let's just do Texas. You know, Texas, notorious liberal state when it comes to COVID. And I use that term very specifically. Of course, they're more conservative politically, but their COVID policies are liberal. I mean, that's the other thing about this, the redefinition. You've got good political liberals saying that being tricked into thinking that COVID lockdowns are a liberal policy, when in fact, you know, take it away from the political definition, it is quite a conservative policy. But, you know, the manipulation of language is for another conversation. But so, yeah, you've got Texas, which is conservative as far as COVID policies go. They're fighting the mask mandates. They're making vaccination a choice, not an obligation or a mandate, versus Australia, which is complete lockdown. What are the and now, of course, of course it's going to be higher. I'm not saying that complete lockdown of the entire country of Australia is not going to lower COVID deaths. Of course it will, but it's, do people actually want to live in a prison state versus take their chances?
So according to some statistics here, the date, because let's look at the date that the Australian news sourced, which was September 9th. According to this chart, there was 306 new deaths that day from COVID.
Okay.
So, 306.
Yeah, so still significantly more, but not 1,700 a day.
Yeah, not 1,700 a day. A total is about 60,000 deaths cumulative.
All in
the entire pandemic.
Texas.
Yeah, just Texas.
For the whole 2 years.
Yeah, and Australia's, what is it at? What was Australia? 1,000?
I don't know. They said it was 1,000 or something.
The whole pandemic?
Yeah, they're counting it differently. They must be.
I know. I mean,
they're not counting the gunshot wounds and the motorcycle deaths.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So they're being more honest, is what you're saying with the death count?
Perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps. I don't know that much about Australia, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to see the different universes, the different perspectives put against one another. And that's really the biggest, you talk about the battle. It's not a COVID battle. It's not even really a political battle. It's a battle of the two different universes, the messaging, the mental construction of what's happening and what's valuable. You know, that's where a lot of these people talk past each other is, number one, you know, a lot of the freedom-loving folk, they're not scared by death numbers. They just, they see freedom as the most important thing, whereas the other side would say, no. We all get to live in a little pod, and we'll stay alive in our little pod, and freedom doesn't matter. But as long as everybody gets to live forever in a little pod, then we'll consider it a success.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look up the size of Australia compared to Texas in terms of like land mass. Just to kind of get an idea of how spread out. Yeah, so Australia's a way bigger. Okay, so that's the other part of it. So not just the numbers here, but I'm showing where Texas would fit in Australia. You could probably fit, 5 Texases within Australia. So same number of people, way more spread out in Australia. So yeah, you're going to get less deaths just in general.
Hey, and I'm not even trying to justify anything.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm just looking at the information here.
The point is that they're right. The point is, yes, if you put everybody in concentration camps, you keep people locked down, you fly helicopters over their house and shout at them with a bullhorn if they go into their backyard. This is not hyperbole. Man, not a joke. This is what they do.
Not a joke.
If you do these things, you will get control, at least more control over COVID. I mean, nobody's arguing that it doesn't work.
But
the point
you
is,
have a whole population of
who
people
wants to live that way. It's a whole. Why even live if you're just living in prison your whole life? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, these people love it.
I take it back. It does make sense. It makes perfect sense. And it's just a matter of is that how the people of your country want to live or not?
Well, you just gotta read the data.
Get the data.
The data. All right. Well, you got anything else about that?
Yeah, I was going to share something. Oh, yes. Got a little butterfly in my throat. I didn't have it linked in the stories here, but I just want to mention, because I saw Enumati in the chat mention it, so I wanted to look it up. Newsrescue.com, the undeniable ivermectin miracle in India's 240 million populated largest state, Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh. I'll just read a little bit. I won't read the whole thing here. Uttar Pradesh might sound obscure to most Americans, but it is the most populated state in India, with urban areas that rival the most densely populated cities in the U.S. Yet, miraculously, despite housing a population of 240 million people, this northern state has been averaging only 24 cases and 0 to 2 deaths per day in recent months. Despite its size, roughly 73% of the U.S. population, it ranks dead last in cases per capita last week among India's 36 states. What gives? The answer likely lies in the 10-letter I word that you are not allowed to mention on social media.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I got COVID. Ivermectin. All kinds of meds. Ivermectin. Everything. Ivermectin. Oh, he took ivermectin.
Evidently,
That's where you can buy your little blister packs that come with ivermectin, Z pack, and a zinc thing all at once. It costs $3.
Yep. Evidently, the global medical junta doesn't like the over 60 studies vouching for the efficacy of ivermectin against SARS-CoV-2, especially when used early. But there is something better than a study. Pure reality on lived experience. And then it goes into more statistics, and just I'll leave the link in the show notes for anybody who's interested. But yeah, there you go. I mean, this is a very densely populated area, the most populated area in India, and wow, 0 to 2 deaths per day. Eat your heart out, Australia. Just spray your people with ivermectin. Let them roam free.
Don't, Gons, it's a horse paste. You'll turn into a horse. But, by the way, that word is junta, and it's a group of military officers who are ruling.
Okay, yes.
The place, yeah. So it's kind of a fun little dig there. Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay. Ready for a break?
Yeah.
Let's take a little break, folks.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
That's right, folks. It's time to take a little break. And you know what that means. It's time for some advertisements. And today's show is being sponsored by ivermectin.
Oh, no. And Maddie in the chat just said Uttar Pradesh is only 5.8% vaxxed.
Uh-oh, that doesn't work.
No.
That doesn't work. 5.8% vaxxed and only 2 deaths a day, and ivermectin flowing in the streets.
More people need to die.
Yeah.
It's my Indian accent.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because it's racist.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble.
No.
Anyways, I can't think of a good advertisement to do today. So I guess we just won't do advertisement, folks. We just won't get paid by the advertising industry and the big data and the privacy panopticon industries to collect.
Very uninspired tone today.
I'm just saying, I was hoping I could extemporaneously come up with another great fake business to advertise, but I can't think of it, so we'll save that for next episode. But that's right, there are no advertisements here, no affiliate codes, no YouTube money, no corporate money whatsoever. We're not even selling any supplements. I mean, what's the deal with that? That's because we're on the value for value model. And this means a few things. First of all, it means that we have rejected yet another offer for advertisements on this show because, well, several reasons. First of all, advertising having its roots in the psychological manipulation of its subjects on a mass level in order to softly push their psychology in the direction of spending money they don't need to spend on things that they don't need to buy. That's right. You may think it's not a big deal that you're immune to advertisements and you just are begging for big industries to collect your data, sell it off to other corporations that will take their time just so gently pushing you around on the internet, manipulating your psychology for the financial benefit of big international corporations. But, you know, if that's what you're into, this isn't the place for you because we turned down yet another advertiser on the show because we are strictly adhering to the value for value model, which is simple, which means we create value, we do it 3 times a week, and we try our very darndest at it. And if you get any value out of what we do here, you have the opportunity to put some value back in. It's simple. Just like the real world, you are invited to take responsibility for your own media future. Sure, there's plenty of shows that won't invite you to become producers of the show, and you can sit, you can watch, and then you can watch the advertisements. And even the podcasters, this is what they'll say. They'll say, well, I don't advertise anything that I don't use myself. Well, that may be true, but it's still advertising. It's still taking advantage of the trust and the attention that you are putting towards those advertisers in order to benefit some other corporation. And we're just not into that here. If you like the show, you want to take responsibility for your own media future, store up your treasure in heaven, and put your money where your mouth is, or where your treasure, where your heart is here on earth. This is a good way to do it. You can do it in a couple different ways. You can do it by heading on over to patreon.com/CCNT. Guns, are you ready to thank some producers?
Yes. Did
you have something you wanted to add to our value for value model talk here before we get started?
Yeah, I will say we will never, ever use a vaccine passport to listen to the show.
Yeah, that's right. No Vax Pass needed to listen to the show.
I'm just came across this thing from Fox 11 Los Angeles. LA County, and it's no surprise, the day Newsom wins, LA County to issue new health order that will require proof of vaccination for all customers and employees in indoor bars, wineries, breweries, nightclubs, as well as outdoor mega events, including Dodgers, Rams, and Chargers games.
Yeah, imagine that. The day that the recall doesn't go through, new health orders getting dropped.
Yeah.
And sorry, Californians, but they like it. They like it. Gives the California people, they like the punishment. They like to be told what to do. It's what they're into.
It's funny too.
It's why they moved to California.
And there's somebody that's like, well, what about people that have natural immunity? And there's like nobody responding to that.
No, it doesn't
exist. Solid question.
Doesn't exist. I mean, you want to ignore the science because, I mean, the science says natural immunity is even better than vaccinated immunity. And when you add the vaccinated immunity with the natural immunity, we're 83% immune in the U.S., which means herd immunity has been reached. But none of that matters. The science doesn't really matter to the politicians. It's all about the control and their approval numbers. So California will continue to enjoy being treated well, like Australians. So, okay, let's thank some producers. The first way to do so is by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT, and we have one new producer over there, Gons, and that is producer David E.
David E. Oh, no, where are you going, Jingle Board? Stay.
Come back, Jingle Board.
Oh, that was weird. It's like avoiding my
It ran away.
Clicker. Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, producer David E. And that's all for the Patreon account. But don't worry, folks. If you don't like Patreon, that's okay. You can become a producer over at CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support has all sorts of fun options for you. You can produce the show with your cryptocurrency. If you're a cool crypto Chad, you can come in with a monthly producership. If you just want a nice set it and forget it, commit to producing the show on a monthly basis. And we thank all of them because it lays down a nice firm foundation for the show on a monthly basis. But if commitment is not your thing, you can go ahead and make a one-time producership in any amount. Gons? Lay it on me.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, there might be one I need to add in there from prior. Yeah, I need to add that one in there. Okay. Yes, we have a lot of people to thank here today. And thank you for all the people who produce the show with either a one-time gift or those who subscribe to the PayPal, or the knights and dames out there who have committed bigly. Appreciate it. The first producers, plural, to thank today are our executive producer for episode 389 goes to Brad and Trista.
Ooh, Brad and Trista. Thank you very much. Executive producers, Brad and Trista. They're the executive producers of episode 389 of
Where'd you find this?
Sorry, I stepped on you talking.
No problemo. Yeah, they came in with $388.33. Ooh, that's fun. It's like 380. Maybe they're shooting for episode 388.
They were. I have a note here. It's a physical note, and it's printed. Thank you very much, so I can read it.
Wonderful.
It says, my dear Basil and Gons, my wife and I have been watching your podcasts for over a year and finally had some extra funds to donate. We wanted to support your show for some time, but the bills just wouldn't allow it. Thank you for spreading the truth of the gospel, Jesus, our Heavenly Father, and your coverage of current events. We've been blessed with discernment since the towers, quote-unquote, imploded, and we do appreciate all the honest views of the news you discuss. We'd like to donate this money towards any producers that are close to hitting their knight or dame status.
Interesting.
The $388.33 is for podcast 388. And you know why the 33? Of course we do. Wink, wink.
Of course, there are Illuminati handlers for the day. Thank you very much.
They're lizard people. For your viewers that don't have faith in the rapture or are nervous about the times we're living in, 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 9. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. For God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you. God bless y'all and keep up the great work. Brad and Trista, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Amen. Thank you very much, executive producers Brad and Trista.
Yep. I like it. I like kicking it off with the snail mail. It feels good.
Yeah, it's fun. It only happens once in a while, but it's always a fun throwback.
Yeah.
To a simpler time.
Yeah, and I appreciate the print. Not that handwriting is not good. I like the handwritten notes. It's more personal, but I do struggle reading the handwritten notes sometimes. All right. Thank you very much, Brad and Trista. Next up, we have Sarah P.
Woo! Thank you very much, Sarah P. And Sarah P. is our associate executive producer for this episode 389 of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you very much, Sarah P. And Sarah P. comes in with $111.11, 111, and a note. I only can listen to Basil and Gons now. I turn off the radio and don't even enjoy any music anymore. Ooh, doggy. Well, thank you very much, Sarah P. And yeah, you know what? I understand. I listen to many podcasts. Like, it's kind of part of the research for the show as well. And I don't listen to a whole lot of music anymore, Gons. In fact, when I'm hitting the gym, I've been hitting the home gym here, lifting heavy things repeatedly. I used to listen to podcasts while lifting, and I realized it sucked out a lot of the real grunt work that I needed to get. It's hard to get, like, I don't know, pumped when you're listening to some podcaster. So I finally started listening to music again in the gym. And it helps me take the mind off things of the world, listen to some music. But
you mean NPR's not getting you over the edge there?
No, it's not just filling me with the animalistic strength that I'm looking for. So really the only time I listen to music now is in the gym. I just, I get it.
Yeah, not a bad plan.
No. Thank you very much, Sarah P., our associate executive producer for episode 389.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah P. Next up, we have Jack V.
Is that Jack V, the Gen Z crypto Chad?
He's back, folks.
He comes in with 4080A. What is that?
Cardano. Yep.
Yeah. And he's got a note here. It's been a while, Daddy Baz and Senpai Gonzo. The markets have been fun the past few weeks. Boys, so hyped that the Alonzo hard fork has been completed on Cardano. I'd like to send you guys some Ergo and or Sunday Swap when it launches. See if you guys have a wallet for them. The ADA I sent, 48 ADA, was some of my staking rewards. Ooh woo. I have a serious question. How much money will it take for Basil and Gons to kiss? Oh my gosh. 10K, 20K? Anyways, I'm a crypto Chad. Cardano is #1 blockchain. Also, he sends a video. GG, easy slap you broser in Christ. Supreme Giga Sigma Chad Crypto Zoomer Emperor Jack V.
Whoa.
Woo! These kids, man.
I know.
These kids and all their words. Thank you very much, Jack V, for the Cardano. And Guns, what are we gonna whip up? Sunday Swap or Ergo?
I might need to create like a Yoroi wallet or something. I think I need a Cardano wallet to accept some of that. So I will look into that and yeah, I appreciate that. And yes, Cardano officially launched their smart contract platform. I think it was on Sunday. And we'll see how that plays out. If their ecosystem is gonna bloom like, Ethereum or some of the other, smart contract platforms.
And Gons, we have not been afraid to put our sellout price on a lot of things. I can't remember what the price was for me taking off the mask. I believe it was in the millions, though. We are ready to volunteer as media consultants for, get the anti-vax
the anti-vax
strategy
crowd.
on the pro-vax advertisements. I think I set mine at 10 million for that. Yours was a little higher, if I remember. I don't know if 10K or 20K would get us to KISS.
Well, first of all, we need some clarity.
Well,
what kind of kiss are we talking about?
What kind of kiss? We can have a brotherly holy kiss. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The problem is if we're talking about like a kiss on the lips,
Gabrielle, please don't kiss. I will unsub.
I will have to work in my medical bills for when Gonza's wife punches me in the head a lot of times. So I don't know. I think that's maybe one that we can't quite put a price on. It's priceless.
It is priceless. It'll be the closest time might be when we're in the ring and we're going at it. We lock up.
That's true.
That's
true. Yeah.
So there you go. That's something for people to look forward to, I guess. I don't know.
Jack V, making it weird on the show. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. Good job.
Who's next?
Gen Z making their presence known on the show. All right. Thank you very much, Crypto Chad. Next up, we have Gail M.
Gail M is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
26 episodes in a row. Comes in with $23. She says, "Hola, the $23 is for Psalm 23. My brother was getting ready to have gallbladder surgery, but found out the pain is from bilateral lower lobe pneumonia.
Oh.
They found a mass in his upper lobe. Please pray. Thank you so much. He and my daughter are all I have left in my family."
Oh.
With some X's and some O's. My goodness. Well, you know what this means, Gons? We need to call the producers.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Assemble, producers. Thanks for answering the call. And that's right. We got to be praying for Gail M's brother, who is having some pain from bilateral lower lobe pneumonia with a mass in his upper lobe. So there you go. Get on it, prayer warriors, the producers. Thank you very much. And we just got an email from one of the producers saying that they are keeping lists of all this and making sure to share it with all the producers, even if they're not listening live. So, yes, thank you very much, Gail M., for your producership, and we'll certainly be keeping your brother in prayer.
Yes. Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, my wife had her gallbladder removed, and that surgery wasn't, I mean, it was pretty simple, but that was sort of the fear, was that they discovered something else going on.
They found something else as well.
No, they didn't, but that was sort of the thing. We're like, we got to really get in there to make sure that it's not something else.
Yeah, that sounds like what happened to Gail's brother here.
Yeah.
You thought it was that and got in there and found something else. That's not good.
All right, praying for you, Gail. Praying for your brother. Next up, we have Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
He's back again. He's on a streak.
Ooh.
2 episodes in a row. He comes in with 1111. And a note that reads, "Happy Wednesday, Canarians. Hope everyone is well. Cheer up, Gons. Newsom science will not stand in the day of judgment." Side note, I'll say it since Basil didn't. Not sponsored by AutoZone. Value for value all the way. Yes, that was in the pre-show, the pre-stream there. I said, time to get in the zone, and my advertising
mind control kicked in.
Mind control from childhood could not help but say, AutoZone.
You couldn't help yourself.
Could not help it.
This. Thank you, Sir Salmons. I needed to hear that Newsom science will not stand in the day of judgment. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I got to keep that eternal perspective in mind on a day like today.
Yep.
Because I was just, listening to him talk. Ugh. All right.
He's got that face. He's got that punchable face.
He does.
I don't know, man. I
He's
don't
that
get
sleazy.
Is the Texas, the Democrats in Texas let the abortion ban go into effect.
I'm 100% on board with that theory.
I'm telling you, it activated the California voters, and that's what did it.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Next up, we have Big Tank.
Big Tank, what's your 20?
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020? Over. Check in. We got us a convoy. Over.
Big Tank is on a streak. Been supporting 12 episodes in a row, which means Big Tank, you might as well be walking on the sun, bro. Came in with a pocket full of sevens and says, stay blessed, y'all. Big Tank. Thank you very much, Big Tank.
Big thanks to Big Tank.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah. Next up, we have Scott K.
Thank you very much, Scott K. Still on a streak, baby. 49 episodes in a row. So close. He comes in with 1049. Made it to 49 episodes in a row, he says. Almost a jubilee. That's right, Scott K. We are getting ready to celebrate with you on Friday's episode as well.
You got to remind me during the prep for next episode to get that jingle ready. Because
oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't want to drop it, you know.
I'll remind you if you remind me to remind you. Somebody email us.
This is going to be a problem.
We need a producer. We need a producer to email us on Friday morning.
This is going to be an issue. No, when you're doing the streaks, you'll remember.
I'll hit it. I'll remember.
You
Yes,
go through
I'll
the
be
streak
excited.
numbers.
I'll see it. Yeah.
Speaking of streaks, the king of streaks, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
There he is. Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, is this king of streakers.
Yeah! Streakers! Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. 58 episodes in a row. Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, of course. Thank you very much, buddy.
Man, he's always a reminder of how long we've been doing the streaks. It's kind of crazy.
I know. I like it. Feels good.
Next up, we have JC.
JC is on a streak. 12 episodes in a row, which means he's walking on the sun, baby.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
And he comes in with a pocket full of sevens and a note. Has someone ever made some Wayne's World Canary Cry crossover artwork?
Oh.
This is my humble request. Praying for y'all. Keep up the good work. Faithful servants of Christ. Thank you very much, JC. No, I don't think we've ever gotten some Wayne's World crossover artwork, but it fits. I hear it. I hear it. Party on, Gons.
Yeah, you know, I got the hat. Yeah, this is that's a good one.
I got the hair.
You do have
We're there.
Actually, yeah.
We're there, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, JC.
Thank you, JC. Good observation. Next up, we have Aaron J.
Aaron J is on a streak. 10 episodes in a row, comes in with 666. And he came in again, actually, with 299. It says, don't know if you... Whoa, sorry, show burp.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know if you guys have heard of this. Hope this link works. Are we doing this? Was
it
this
worked.
for us? What is it?
Yeah. It's 2021.
Fauci. Fauci documentary.
The movie.
Fauci.
IMBD rating. Are you seeing it now?
See what?
Okay, don't look at the screen. What do you think out of 10 IMDb gave this movie?
666.
Fauci, a glimpse into infectious disease specialist Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has led the U.S. fight against every epidemic the country has faced, from AIDS to SARS to Ebola and the ongoing COVID-19.
Okay.
You said 6?
Yeah.
Shooting high. 2.1 out of 10.
Oh my gosh. 2.1?
2.1 out of 10.
That's worse than like Sharknado.
Sharknado is definitely more entertaining than this movie.
I want to know oh my gosh, look at top cast. Bono is the first listed. What in the world? The second one is George W. Bush. Well, it's of course he's. This is
AIDS.
I mean, it's Bono,
AIDS.
George W. Bush, Francis Collins, Anthony Fauci, Jennifer Fauci, Thomas Frieden. I don't know who that is. Bill Gates is on there.
Oh,
Susan
yeah.
Rice.
Wow. Yeah, this is it right here.
Are those user reviews?
Oh yeah,
It must be user generated.
Member
reviews.
reviews.
Okay. It's not IMDb, the institution rated at 2.1 stars.
So it had 233 tens, like 10 out of 10. But it was offset by the 1,209 1-star reviews, which is the lowest you can get. And so your weighted average is 2.1.
Ouchie.
Ouchie,
Fauci. That's funny. Yeah. All right.
Females,
well, thank you.
Females gave it a higher score than males.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, let's just be honest. It's rated so low because of anti-Fauci internet trolls going on and leaving bad. Most of them probably didn't even watch the movie.
Yeah,
they
that's
just
true.
left a bad review.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron J.
Who paid for this? Who paid for the movie?
Oh, the movie? Let's take a look. Who produced Fauci? National Geographic, it looks like.
National Geographic story. Yeah, but that didn't. What's like an executive producer? Do they have an executive producer list? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Are they
Production
involved?
companies, Magnolia Pictures, National Geographic, Story Syndicate. Yeah, not much info.
Interesting. Not seeing any executive producers
because
listed.
it's the Beast.
It's the Beast.
Oh, look, hour and 44 minutes, 144. Mocking the 144,000.
Oh my gosh!
It was released. Oh, it just came out too, September 10th.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to watch it. We'll do a live watch party.
We'll
do like
Fauci, the production.
What is the
Mystery
Science Theater?
Yeah.
I mean, we're built for this, Gons, to do a Mystery Science Theater version of watching Fauci the documentary. We could fact check it as we go through.
That's true.
You think they have? Do you think they put in the part where he lied to Congress?
No.
Had his emails leaked and knew that it didn't come from a lab January of 2020.
There's probably like a Fauci, side view shadow shot of him going, it's been hard, it's been tough, and then like him and like Rand Paul yelling at each other, except only Rand Paul saying like,
this is when Fauci smacked down Rand Paul.
Yeah.
You don't know what you are talking about.
You do not know what you are talking about. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Aaron J.
It looks like it's on Disney Plus. Oh boy,
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So all the children can be little Fauci.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's keep moving.
I almost said something bad.
Stop.
All right, okay. Where are we? What are we doing? Break time.
Juan
A.
Woo! Thank you very much, Juan A. You're on a streak. 17 episodes in a row, coming in with 555 and a note. Producers. Well, let's hit it.
Producers, assemble!
Producers and Canary fam, please pray for all of us that will be affected by this huge amount of rain that's supposedly coming to the southeast Texas and all of the coast, and for all the families that will be without power. Yes, that's true. Texas, you're in our prayers. Put on the list, producers. Thank you very much, Juan A.
Thank you, Juan A. Maybe you can bag them up and send them to California. All that rain.
Wondering who was getting bagged up there, but yes, you can send the rain.
No, the rain,
way.
Not. What are you?
Just saying, bag them up. What? The rain? Bag the rain. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Juan A.
Thank you, Juan A. Next up, we have Platypus Lady 44.
Platypus Lady 44 is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
2 episodes in a row, pocket full of 5s. Huh. Another call for the producers.
Producers, assemble!
Busy day for the producers today. So here we go. Producers, Platypus Lady 44 and hubby are in 2 separate hospitals. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He was helicoptered to a higher level outside our rural community yesterday. God is faithful, and I'm improving quicker than man expects. Grace, grace, grace. Married 32 years. Wow. Well, congrats on you're almost to the Illuminati marriage number. Congrats on that. And yes, we'll continue to pray for Platypus Lady 44 and hubby as they recover from COVID in 2 separate hospitals.
You know, I have a friend whose daughter had some issues and she had to get helicoptered in, and she saw the bill for the helicopter. Ugh, steep.
Yeah, helicopters ain't cheap, man.
Steep. Wow. So, yeah. Thank you for the producership, Platypus Lady. We'll be praying for you and your husband. Next up, we have Heather.
Oh, that's Heather and Russ.
Oh, Heather and Russ.
It's Heather and Russ. I was sort of playing around with combining their names.
Okay.
You know, like a celebrity relationship name.
Sure.
So
like,
it's Heatherus. Heatherus.
Heatherus. Okay. Like a headdress, but instead it's a Heatherus.
Sure. I was thinking more like Heather Us, like Heather US, maybe.
Oh, Heather or
we
us.
We could get rid of the and be Hear Us.
Or Heath or Us.
Heath or Us. I like Heather Us. Thank you very much, Heather and Russ. Coming in with 440. Hey, Gons and Basil, one of my favorite scriptures and so relevant to our times. The hairy legs Howard Dean scream is one of our inside jokes. Okay, that's good. It's one of our inside jokes too, so we have a lot in common. Thanks for everything. We appreciate you both. Well, we appreciate you, Heather Russ. They say Russ and Heather at the end of the note here. Okay, you want to switch it around? Well, we'll call you Ruther. I'm just kidding. But they send 2 Corinthians.
That sounds like a crazy robot movie.
It's a good name for like a spaceship.
Yeah.
You know? Welcome aboard, Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 4:4, among whom the God of this system of things has blinded the minds of the unbelievers, so that the illumination of the glorious good news about the Christ, who is the image of God, might not shine through. Thank you very much, Heather and Russ. The Heatherus. It's another name for a spaceship.
Yeah. Just all kinds of spaceship names coming out of this
Everything's a spaceship, Gons.
It's for them. All right. Thank you very much, Heather and Russ. Next up, we have Adam 42.
Adam 42 comes in with 442 and a note. Everyone come join the party at the Discord. It's poppin'. That's right.
Oh, I thought it said it's poopin'. Poppin'. Okay, yeah, all right.
Could be both. I don't know. I haven't been over there in a little while. I'll have to stop back in to the Discord channel. But yes, if you want to join the Discord channel, head on over to CanaryCry.Party, and you can find the link there. Thank you very much, Adam42.
Thank you, Adam42. Next up, Brant W.
Brant W is on a streak. 13 episodes in a row. He comes in with 374. That's threes and fees. And he's got a note here. It says threes plus fees, faux shees.
Equals. Equals. You got to say equals.
Okay, Gons. Don't tell me how to read a note. I want to see Basil versus Flippy in a rap battle. We could make that happen. Maybe it's the sideshow at our big fight, Gons. When I beat you, I just break into a rap battle. I immediately have to go from boxing you to rap battling Flippy.
There was a time where I was doing little raps at the intro of Canary Cry News Talk.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Well, a year or so, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening again.
No.
Thank you very much, Brant W. Good ideas. We always like the ideas here from our producers. Next up, we have Veronica D.
Veronica D is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
24 episodes in a row and a pocket full of threes, and sends a little robot emoji. Thank you, Veronica D.
Is 24 not a thing, or did we? I always forget.
Did I not say that? Oh, no. 24 is not a thing. The next one's 27,
27, okay. Thank you very much, Veronica D. Next up, we have Marcy T.
Marcy T is on a streak.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
2 episodes in a row, pocket full of threes, and a note. Hi, Basil, love you. Gons, love you. 333 Hebrew word means San Israel leader like you. Too much love.
Thank you very much, Marcy
Thank
T.
you. 333 Hebrew word means San Israeli leader like you. Too much love. Thank you very much, Marcy T. All caps, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's easy to read.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcy T. Next up, we have Runk Smash.
Runk Smash. 13 episodes in a row on a streak. $2.11, 1 cent per character of this microfiction, which goes like this. Filthy unvaxxed detected, screeches a loud robotic voice as a giant Roomba charges our heroes. They can't escape. Cornered, they stand terrified. Then a small flash of canary yellow splits the monstrosity in two. I know that katana, exclaims Basil.
Very good.
Things are heating up in the microfiction.
I was going to say, yeah, very much so. We did get an email from Runk Smash, and he highlighted an article that we did not... actually, we dropped it in the last episode due to time restraints, but it was a story about George Church and his... remember we reported on the mammoth? They're trying to resurrect the mammoth?
Yeah.
Well, I guess George Church got a $15 million grant or something like that. I think he started another new company.
Good for him.
To use CRISPR to de-extinct the woolly mammoth. And so I guess, they're moving forward.
You know what's so funny about that? Besides just the scientific achievement of cloning prehistoric creatures, it's just going to turn into a tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just prison. You are born into the age of being in a prison.
We're going to clone this mammoth and keep it in a cage for its whole life. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but
hopefully they'll blast some CCNT into the mammoth chamber, and he'll start thinking like, I must think outside the cage.
Got to rattle the cage of the woolly mammoth.
Yep. So anyway, thank you, Runk Smash. Appreciate the poetry as well. And last but not least, we have producer Ciara.
Thank you very much, Ciara. She's on the streak. Ciara. 21 episodes in a row, which means she's on an EMP meltdown.
Yeah, she is. What jingle?
There's an EMP meltdown jingle.
That's the one I don't think I have.
Oh, dang. We got to replace 21. Let's replace it right now. I'm going to do it right now. So we go from Supernova.
Mm-hmm.
Supernova, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to do. Somebody in the chat. We need to replace 21, and we need to write something down for 27. We have this problem every single time.
It's your thing, bro. Your thing.
It's our thing, Gons. We're a team. It's our thing. It's not just mine or yours. It's the producers.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the chat. Thing. We need something. Oh, Blackjack. That's what it was.
Oh, Blackjack. Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Blackjack.
Yeah, write that down so we don't forget.
I'm trying. I got to hit edit here. Okay, hold on. We're going Blackjack. I think I was saying Blackjack Nickel Sack, but that doesn't make any sense.
Blackjack Attack.
Jack.
Mac 7.
Yeah, what is this? Blackjack Nephilim Attack? Blackjack. Oh, come on, folks. Anything? Okay, I'm putting Blackjack. And then, 21 Gun Salute. We should do that. Let's do 21 Gun Salute. It's not as fun as Blackjack, but it could make for some good jingle.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a machine gun of 21.
21 rounds.
Yeah, with 21 machine gun rounds. Let's do that. Who said that? There's a Wild Pot Roast on Twitch. Thank you very much. 21 gun salute. All right. That we can work with. Except for
you typing
VR
anything.
Hand is floating around. I can't control anything. All
right. Well, thank you very much, Ciara.
Yes, she sent a note.
Yeah.
It says, and let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Genesis 1:15 ESV.
Thank you very much, Ciara. And thank you to all the producers, executive producer and associate executive producer for episode 389. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate all the suggestions and notes and prayer requests for the producers. It's a community here, and we truly do appreciate everybody participating. There's other ways you can produce the show beyond just your treasure, and that is with your time and talent. And do want to thank Jade Bouncerson for doing timestamps for episode 388. And we have a jingle to present.
Yes, we do.
And it looks like we didn't get an updated version of it, which is okay. We'll play it, and
That's
hopefully
okay. This one's fine.
Yeah, so it's from Learbag 3000. And he says, hey, y'all, hopefully this will come in handy for you. I've got a get vaccinated jingle in the works for comedic value, but only one for today. Figured I'd slow it down till you get that Learbag folder made. God bless. P.S. Basil was correct. I'm forced to send these straight from GarageBand iOS. And to the GarageBand hater, hey, man, don't be batting. Gotta do what you gotta do. Take a listen.
I will give it to GarageBand, though, to have an effective iOS app for a fairly robust sound editing, multi-track program. It's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Do it all right on the phone. Yeah.
I've been wanting a multi-track thing on the phone for a while now. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I actually just got an iRig, amplitude, so you can plug in your guitar into this thing called an iRig and then simulate an amp
goes into your
signal
phone
chain. Yeah, it's actually kind of impressive. I was pretty impressed with it. So anyway, this is Demooched by Learbag 3000. Right idea.
I like it. We're on the same. I think I was just sent him a note, said we need to boost the vocals up a little bit more so it's above the track, the music track. And then maybe we should stick in like that, what was it? That vocal thing you had of the Money Changers. You had like a Bible reading of the Money Changers, like the British guy. And the money changers in the temple.
They overturned the tables of the money changers.
There it is. See, we'll stick that on the end over the trap beat. Boom. There we go. We got the whole reference in one jingle.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Learbag 3000. And yes. One per episode is a good pace. I appreciate that.
Totally doable.
Yeah. All right. The other thing that we get from producers is artwork.
One art, please.
And we would like to share the first piece from Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And this piece is called Arm Forces. Here's Allie's take on military personnel being forced to get the Jabarooski. And, it's a military guy getting a Jabarooski.
Nice. And a big, beefy boy in the military's got one hand coming in and sticking that jab in his arm, one begloved hand, and he's got his elbow on the table, leaning his head on his hand. He's not very happy about this. He's a sad soldier boy. But man, sad soldier boy's got boulder shoulders, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. This really, I feel like I'm looking at a mirror of myself today.
Okay.
And the jab, and the jab is the Newsom news.
Is the Newsom news?
It's the Newsom science just being injected into my body.
Yeah. Excellently done, Dame Allie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dame Allie. Next one we have is from Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And he has a note here. Peace had the idea for this one last week after that article about the tinfoil house that withstood the forest fire and how the crazed tinfoil man of the forest may have inadvertently started the whole mess by deflecting the beams of a directed energy weapon against the kindling. So I figured it as good a time as any to introduce new product introduce a new product that's sure to make a splash within the growing prepper market. CCR tinfoil house wraps. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you. Oh, this is so awesome.
This is pretty funny. Yes, so in reference to the tinfoil wrapped house that survived the fire in California here, we've got an advertisement for CCR tinfoil house wrap, and we've got this nice sort of wooded area, obviously burned by fires, but this tinfoil house wrapped cabin has survived. We've got Smokey the Bear standing off to the left. Looks a little perturbed about what was going on over there.
Covered in ash. He's ashy.
Yes, covered in ash all over his face. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got some details. We've got, it works against ELF weapons, ELF weapons, and it's got a picture of Xi Jinping with his elf ears and a little elf hat. It's got a circle and a slash through it there.
It's in reference, the elf ears in reference to the Chinese story of the Chinese getting plastic surgery to get elf ears. Yeah,
very well done. It also works against fires. We've got a sad little flame there. Doesn't look too happy about it, but we've got a circle slash through it. But it also works against the feds.
It's just against the feds.
It is all feds. They can't get in if it's a tinfoil house wrap. Let's see. We've got a couple of little canaries up there, a googly-eyed canary and a cool glasses canary hanging out up in the tree. And down below the unburned house, we've got, is that the Fauci mouse?
Yep. Tony is truth.
Is that what the flag says? Tony is truth.
Flag this is Tony is truth.
That's funny. This is good. I'm telling you, tinfoil house wrap. That's got some legs, I think.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at the logo, and yeah. So okay, the tinfoil is just tinfoil house wrap, repeated over and over again. For some reason, I thought it was InfoWars because of at the top. Where the triangular part of the house where it meets, you can only see the info. So I thought it kind of looks like the InfoWars. I don't think that was necessarily intended per se, but
well, who knows?
And
who knows?
And what's in the background in the sky? Very gently, very lightly. Chemtrail.
Chemtrails are back.
Chemtrails
folks.
are still back, even after a forest fire.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove. You did it. You did it again.
Thank you, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. That's all the artwork we have for today. Just want to mention meetups.
Canary Cry Meetup.
CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Oop, I'm at the wrong thing. Meetups.com. And you can learn all about the meetups. I need to update some of these images here. I did receive a couple new ones from Ciara.
Yeah, Ciara sent some new flyers we're going to stick up there.
Yeah, we'll put them in. The one Ciara sent is for Ohio, October 30th, 2021, 3 p.m. Basil Pizza and Wine Bar.
Oh, fun.
In Perrysburg, Ohio.
I like that. The themed location. I like it.
Yeah, they got a picture of a pizza here with some mushroom and spinach on there.
And I think that's basil, not spinach.
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
the green leaf.
I'm just going off of context clues
you're right.
here.
You're right. I'm. This is why I'm not in the kitchen ever. I was trying to cook something last night. Disaster.
It's a green leaf. It's all spinach. And this is happening on October 30th in Ohio, in Perrysburg, Ohio. So there you go. You can contact Ciara Loren93 at gmail.com to RSVP. We'll put the flyer up on Canary Cry Meetups. And there's all sorts of meetups going on all around the country, all throughout the year. So if you're looking to meet other Canarians just like you on the level, listening to the show, waking up, go ahead and head on over to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. See if there's one going on by you. And if there's not, or even if there is, go ahead and start one yourself. It's easy. The instructions are on there. Just pick a place, a time, provide some contact details, maybe make a flyer for it, send it to us, and we will let the world know. It's a good idea to connect with other Canarians. Find people who are on the same level, so when things go sideways, you got the beginnings of an apocalypse team there.
Yes, and just to save the dates, you got the Ohio, October 30th. You have NorCal, November 6th, SoCal, December 4th, and ideas for 2022, question mark?
Ciara is looking for ideas for 2022. There you go, folks. Get involved. And it's always a wonderful time. And have we heard back from Veronica about the Hawaii meetup yet?
We just keep getting robot emojis. Maybe she met with robots. I don't know.
Maybe it was all robots at the meetup.
All the time.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we forgot a piece of art. That I'm looking at here. Yeah,
we got to do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this is from Ryan N.
Okay.
And it's okay. Let me read
this is okay. I mean, this was an optional one.
Yeah, let's just go with it. We'll do it. Okay, so he has a note here. He actually sent a couple. We kind of went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to do the whole thing.
No, not the whole thing. I'll just do the most recent one here.
Okay.
Unless you think it's not necessary to read the note.
No, I mean we can read it. I don't know. I didn't get the impression that the note was for being read on the show, but let's go ahead and do it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know.
Oh, he's in the chat right now.
What does he say?
Ryan N. He says, "Thanks, guys."
Okay, we're going to read the most recent email then.
It says, I just finished some concept art for you guys. Do with it what you will. Share it or don't. Well, we will share it. It had some questions about clothing choices. What would you guys wear clothing/armor-wise in the post-apocalypse situation? Keep in mind for the lore of the story, it's permanent night with no stars and a permanent blood moon as the only luminary. Also, as a gentle nudge, LOL, I designed a samurai helmet for Gans out of an old riot helmet. Let me know what you think of the designs and whatever ideas you come up with. Hopefully, with this work and with more to come, I have been demooched.
Oh, interesting. That would be I don't know if we've necessarily put the protocol together for that. But yeah, so Ryan is working on a project, a fun fiction project, and wants to write us into it, which we're very excited about. And he's got some art here, some concept art for writing Canary Cry News Talk into this cool fiction that he's putting together. Oh gosh, I've lost control. Here we go. We've got the town of Calixtus, a repurposed baseball arena there. It's like a post-apocalyptic baseball arena fortress town, which is pretty cool. The dugouts lead to underground tunnel systems. He's got kind of a layout here, which is dope. On the right-hand side here, we've got Gonz's riot helmet, samurai helmet.
I like it.
Christian fish as a wood ornament, ? Riot helmet converted into makeshift samurai helmet. Very cool. We've got Gonz there below the helmet. I like that helmet. It's pretty sweet looking. We got to remember that when the apocalypse hits.
Yeah.
The bottom left-hand corner, we got, says here, you guys run your show out of the press box. Oh, the press box at the baseball stadium. That's fun. So we've got a converted press box with a antenna on the top, and you can see our silhouettes inside there. It looks like there's even a Flippy, the robot, on the left-hand side. Yes, we've saved. Flippy has joined the post-apocalyptic colony here. And a big sign on the top says Canary Cry News Talk, and it's got a dead canary on it, which I think, yes, once the apocalypse starts, the canary has stopped crying.
Yes.
I think that might be a good logo conversion when that happens. And then in the bottom right-hand corner here, we've got Basil with the big googly eyes and fun stuff like that. I like it. I will make a request, though, and this is for all depictions of Basil. You guys got to remember, I got facial hair, man. I'm not sitting here not shaven for no reason, okay? Got to make sure to put the facial hair in there. So that'll be my one production note. But other than that, Ryan, I love it. I love the idea. It's very creative and fits into the ethos. I'm a huge fan.
What do you want to wear? What kind of clothing? I mean, you got ripped question. Up. You're into the ripped up jeans.
Something
and
cowboy.
flannel.
It's got to be Western style.
You're Western. You're Western.
Yeah, so I want some something Western. Not so there's got to be a mix between maybe like a duster, an optional sort of apocalypse duster. Of course, I got to have the boots. I got to have some sort of hat. I don't need to wear the hat all the time, but I want a leather gun belt and a pistol. I'm going to be carrying around a pistol in the apocalypse. That's for sure.
I'll go with the Charles Schwab.
The lizard person space suit.
Yeah, you remember the suit, the thing he was wearing?
Yeah,
like
with the shoulder pads.
The shoulder pads, yeah.
But remember in the apocalypse, so it has to be made out of trash or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think I like the riot suit, samurai vibe.
Well, the riot suit, samurai helmet is great.
Samurai.
I'll just, but on the body, got to protect my body too, not just my head.
But you have like a trans.
No, we found Klaus.
Upcycled. Well, maybe. Okay, so what you're really saying, Gons, is you want big shoulder pads. That's
okay.
Your heart's desire.
Let's just, okay, fine. Vegeta.
Vegeta
Super
Samurai.
Saiyan Samurai.
Vegeta
outfit.
Samurai. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. Remember that
can be done.
With the shoulder thing, the big old eggshell type thing, whatever. Okay, so there you go.
We all know the Gons just wants sweet shoulder pads. Okay, something cool, something kind of pointy, and there's some sort of Western apocalypse garb for me. Thank you very much, Ryan, and we're excited for you to be working on that project, and we'll love to see more as it develops.
Yep. And that's it. We should get back to the show so we can get out of here in due time.
Let's wake on up.
Let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
We're going to do... What's going on with my connection here? Oh, man. Got problems.
Is it your headphones are losing stereo or something?
Yeah, but it's also being recorded that way for the RSS, so...
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to fix it. But anyway, what do we got? We got politics.
Poly.
No.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
Your blood.
Oh, people listening later on are going to get like the worst version of that. It's all crackly and... Anyway, a couple stories real quick. We don't need to dig too deep into it. This first one was kind of trending yesterday. CBSNews.com. Milley stands by communications with China amid backlash sparked by new book revelations. You hear about this, Basil?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Wow, okay. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley denied any wrongdoing with calls with his Chinese counterpart held in the closing months of the Trump administration, revelations of which sparked outrage from GOP lawmakers and calls for his termination. Colonel Dave Butler, a spokesman to Milley, said in a statement to reporters, the calls are part of his regular communications with defense chiefs worldwide, including China and Russia, and are crucial to reducing tensions between nations, as well as, quote, avoiding unintended consequences or conflict. His call with the Chinese and others in October and January were in keeping with the duties and responsibilities conveying reassurance in order to maintain strategic stability, Butler said in a written statement. All calls from the chairman to his counterparts, including those reported, are staffed, coordinated, and communicated with the Department of Defense and the interagency. Milley's calls with his Chinese counterpart were revealed Tuesday in excerpts of a new book, Peril, from reporters Bob Woodward and Robert Costa, to be published next week. According to reports, Milley held 2 phone calls with General Li Zuocheng of the People's Liberation Army, during which he assured him the U.S. would not launch an attack against China. One of the calls was held October 30th, and the other January 8th, 2 days after the mob of former President Trump supporter breached the U.S. Capitol, according to reports about the book. The authors also claim Milley said he would alert his Lee in the event of an attack by the U.S. and following the January 6th assault on the Capitol, sought to reassure his counterpart the U.S. was stable. The revelations from the book, published by several news outlets Tuesday, prompted backlash from Republicans who said Milley should either resign or be fired. GOP Senator Mark Rubio of Florida said the reports indicate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, quote, worked to actively undermine the commander-in-chief and, quote, contemplated a treasonous leak of classified information to the Chinese Communist Party in advance of a potential armed conflict with China. Mr. Trump lambasted Milley, saying in a statement he should be tried for treason. The former president denied he was thinking of attacking China. In addition to detailing Milley's conversation with his counterpart in China, the new book also reportedly reveals he gathered senior military officials after the January 6th attack to review procedures for launching nuclear weapons and acknowledging that while the president could order a launch, Milley had to be part of the process. Butler, Milley's spokesman, said the general frequently holds meetings with uniformed leaders across the military to keep them abreast of current issues as part of his responsibilities as senior military advisor to the president and defense secretary. Quote, the meeting regarding nuclear weapons protocols was to remind uniformed leaders in the Pentagon of the long-established and robust procedures in light of media reporting on the subject, he said. General Milley continues to act and advise within his authority in the lawful tradition of civil control of the military and his oath to the Constitution, end quote. Despite the calls from Republicans for Milley to be dismissed, the White House on Wednesday continued to stand by him. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters Wednesday that they would circle back. No. She said Wednesday the reported calls came during a time when Mr. Trump fomented unrest in the nation that led to the January 6th assault, and said President Biden viewed Milley as a man of honor. The president had complete confidence in his leadership, his patriotism, and his fidelity to our Constitution, she said of Milley. Mr. Biden told reporters Wednesday afternoon he has, quote, great confidence in General Milley. So there you go. This is CBS News. So obviously the story being that he was communicating with China and there were some nuclear launch stuff he's discussing with China. Not the most comfortable thing, and I can understand why the GOP would be going after him. But for some damage control, Milley had to come out and basically say, I stand by it. And play the moral card of it's just normal duties. When all signs seem to suggest, no, you're leaking stuff, bro. What are you doing? But anyway,
bro, you're leaking
what
stuff,
you doing?
Bro. Well, sort of along the same lines. We have the story from MSN.com here. The headline, China blasts U.S. clicks before planned meetings with Japan, India, and Australia. And by clicks, it's CLIQUES.
Yeah, this is like the clicks in high school.
I know, which is hilarious. Yeah. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian has blasted the U.S. for forming exclusive cliques after President Joe Biden announced Tuesday an upcoming meeting with Japan, India, and Australia, the Associated Press reported. It's such a funny way to frame it. It's like, international partners and, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, hey, you're making clicks. Don't leave us out of your cool clicks.
Very high
China.
School.
Yeah. Leaders from our 4 countries, referred to as the Quad, will meet next week in person for talks in the interest of promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific, the Biden administration said. Taiwan, which China claims as part of its territory, conducted military exercises Wednesday on rural roads to prepare for any possible Chinese attacks on its main airfields. The action comes as China has increased its assertiveness in the East and South China Seas, pushing Taiwan to bolster its defense and the U.S. and allies to bolster cooperation in structuring a sufficient response, the AP reported. Yeah, so Taiwan is getting ready to defend itself. The U.S., Japan, India and Australia are getting together to plan on what to do if China invades Taiwan. And China feels like it's left out of the cool kids club, apparently. After Biden's announcement of the meeting, Li Yan asserted that China was a firm defender of regional peace and stability. He added, China's development is a growing force for peace in the world and a boon to the prosperity and development of the region. The countries concerned should abandon the outdated zero-sum mentality and narrow-minded geopolitical thinking. For more reporting on the Associated Press, see below. And
I have an update about this.
Okay, tell me about it.
It just happened a few minutes ago, or I don't know, today. Okay, Orlando Sentinel. President Biden announces Indo-Pacific alliance with UK and Australia. President Joe Biden announced Wednesday that the U.S. is forming a new Indo-Pacific security alliance with Britain and Australia that will allow for greater sharing of defense capabilities, including helping equip Australia with nuclear-powered submarines. It's a move that would deepen a growing chasm in U.S.-China relations. Biden, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison appeared together virtually to detail the new alliance, which will be called AUKUS. That's AUKUS, pronounced AUKUS.
AUKUS.
AWK-us. The three announced they would quickly turn their attention to developing nuclear-powered submarines for Australia. So there you go. That's one thing there. The Australian Prime Minister said plans for the nuclear-powered submarines will be developed over the next 18 months, and the vessels will be built in Adelaide, Australia. Australia had announced in 2016 that French company DCNS had beat out bidders from Japan and Germany to build the next generation of submarines in Australia's largest ever defense contract. It was not immediately clear what the new alliance would mean for the deal with the French defense contractor. Okay, so let me finish a couple more things here. Asked on Tuesday about media reports that Xi had declined to commit to meet with him in person, the U.S. president said it was, quote, untrue. Come on, man. The U.S. and Australia, along with India and Japan, are members of the strategic dialogue known as the Quad. Biden is set to host a few Quad members next week. Okay, so, all right, so ahead of the Quad, you have the AUKUS forming to help Australia. You know what it seems like to me? I don't know, Basil, if you played some flag football or some basketball over there on the elementary school courts when you were a kid. But, you know, you stand in a line, you got a couple captains, and you pick teams, you know? I want Jimmy on my team, and then the other guy, I want Steven, you know? Kind of feels like they're doing that for World War III, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. I totally get the metaphor, except for China, the kid not getting picked is...
Well, no, China's like another captain.
Oh, one of the other captains,
He's another captain, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. This is very specifically military posturing around China. They're kind of cornering China, or at least surrounding China, bolstering military capabilities with, I mean, you'd think Japan...
Sorry. I was going to say, I was just going to say the Milley story of, hey, the communications with China, it's almost like a setup, like they're trying to expose who's responsible for the breakdown. But Milley's going, no, see, when I was talking to them, it was good, you know, I was trying to uphold the relationship. You know, now that we're implementing Trump policies or whatever, we're breaking down and China bad, and you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we would have gone to war with China under Trump, but we didn't because of Milley, because he was communicating for us. I don't know. It's just a weird posturing in the U.S. here, but, you know,
I mean, it is some serious worldwide military posturing going on, which is very interesting. Yeah, Guthbrand in the Twitch chat says, like setting up a game of Risk.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're trading in cards, you're getting your big getting your big bonus armies, you're starting to set them around, you know.
Well, especially now that the U.S. abandoned Afghanistan, they're like, oh, here, you can have, you know, give that to China, but now we got to regroup over here. We got to gather all of our new toys.
Bolstering India, which would be the only separation between China and Afghanistan, or at least, besides that little peninsula of a border they have. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I don't have much analysis to bring to it except for, you don't hear a lot of people talking about it. It's pretty weird.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. We gotta zoom through some of these. You got anything else in politics?
I was gonna say it looks like maybe one of the sections. If we're trying to get out, I think maybe we can skip the climate change section. But that's just.
Oh, I don't want to skip it.
Okay.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
Let's just check in with Space Pope Reptilian real quick.
Space Pope Reptilian.
It's from Axios. Pope criticizes the use of the cross as a political symbol. Pope, this is kind of ironic coming from the Catholic Church, but okay. Pope Francis warned against using the cross as a symbol for partisan means on Tuesday during his trip to Slovakia, saying it shouldn't be reduced to a political or status symbol, the New York Times reports. Yeah, it's not a symbol. It shouldn't be a political symbol or a status symbol. It's just the symbol of like a torture device used to kill the Son of God, but it's all good. Why it matters. Pope Francis has a habit of speaking more critically about a country after he has left it, the Times notes. The remarks said in Slovakia.
It's so sleazy. It's like, you guys are wonderful.
Yeah, it's like he goes there. And bags. Well, it's like he goes to Slovakia, and then as he's leaving Slovakia, just like, well, get a load of this place. Are you kidding me? The remarks said in Slovakia come days after his visit to Hungary, where several political parties have crosses on their party flags. Hungary's strongman president Viktor Orban, who also pushed Christianity as a basis for his policies, which are hallmarked by nationalism and fierce opposition to immigration. Other political parties in Europe, including far right ones. Okay. Including far right. Okay, so are there some left ones that also have it? Also employ crosses in their flags and symbols as well. The cross is not a flag to wave, but the pure source of a new way of living. The Pope said per Reuters, adding that a Christian, quote, views no one as an enemy, but everyone as a brother or sister. The Pope added that many avowed Christians wear crosses or have them in their home despite not having a strong relationship with Jesus. What good is this unless we stop to look at the crucified Jesus and open our hearts to him, he said. Let us not reduce the cross to an object of devotion, much less to a political symbol, to a sign of religious and social status.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean, on one hand,
he's right about some of it. Yeah, he's got a point, but also the Catholic Church uses the cross as like a political symbol. So
yeah, notoriously, it's this guy. It's Pope Francis. It's this third wave Catholicism, pushing for the sort of unity, one world type of thing, instead of the cross representing a certain way of being, which he says. Why, on the other hand, if I'm just looking for reasons to argue with the Pope here, he says the cross is a symbol of what exactly does he put it? Christian crosses or have them in their home, It's not a flag to wave. It's a new way of, a pure source of a new way of living. Views no one as an enemy, but everyone as a brother and sister. Okay, the cross can mean whatever it means to you. And if that symbol and that meaning you are applying to everything in your life, including your politics, you should be able to use it as a symbol of anything. Now the point he's trying to make is like, oh, these political parties, they don't really believe in the cross, which is probably so. I don't know much about Hungarian politics.
Well, it's interesting because there's that issue of a self-defeating argument in a sense, because it's like,
it is sort of circular, isn't it?
Yeah, it's circular in a sense, because you're saying don't use the cross unless it means this, and but then they use the cross. Does it mean what they
Right.
I mean, because it can't if you're telling other people not to use it for a particular reason. I think
that's really at its core what he's saying here is you don't get to use the cross. The cross is our thing.
My cross.
Yeah, the cross is our thing. You don't get to use it for your symbols. This is our symbol. We get to say what it means and when it gets to be used. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't really care about what he's saying here necessarily, but that's how they operate. That's the Catholic it's just the Vatican's MO.
Yeah. Well, part of their MO has been climate change. Pope Francis has been very much involved in the conversations about climate change. And as we move from COVID to climate, the fear is starting to spin up even more.
Geoengineering.
This is quartz.com. Did I skip one? I did. Okay, so sorry. That was supposed to be the headline. This first one here. Inside edition. Polar bears turn to inbreeding and cannibalism to survive effects of climate change.
Look what you're making the polar bears do.
Oh, poor polar bears are inbreeding and eating each other.
Well, that's not good.
A recent Norwegian study showed the devastating effects of climate change on the Arctic through the polar bears' means of survival. Polar bears are in extreme danger of extinction due to climate change. A recent study showed that the genetic diversity of polar bears in Norway had decreased 10% from 1995 to 2016. The two 10%?
Most 10%? That doesn't sound as like...
They're dying, Basil. Stop it.
It's genetic diversity of polar bears. It's not even saying that there's less polar bears. It's just saying more polar bears are related to one another.
Hey, they're inbreeding, okay? And they're eating each other. The two most recent generations of polar bears on the Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard were found to turn to inbreeding as a result of their dwindling population. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the Barents Sea has experienced a dramatic loss of sea ice, which is one of the primary contributors to these changes in the lives of the bears. Because of the diminishing supply of ice available, the polar bears have been forced to change their diets from seals to birds to eggs, and some in other areas of the Arctic have turned to cannibalism. End of story.
I'm pretty sure bears have always been pretty nasty towards one another.
This is the angle, okay? Now, the polar bear has always been used...
It is an interesting moral angle. You're right. They are taking not just a moral angle, like we need to save our Earth. It's, look, you're forcing these animals to commit bear rights atrocities.
Well, not just that. That's part of it. They've always used the polar. Remember the picture of the polar bear sinking in the water? Yeah. Oh, the Earth is heating up.
He's on his little iceberg.
I don't know what deal the king polar bear made with the globalists. Some kind of deal of like, hey, we're going to use you in propaganda. But here's the other part of it. The threat is this. If you don't comply with our New World Order climate change initiatives, we will be forced to inbreeding and cannibalism.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What happens to the bears today will happen to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like a justification, like what's up with all the inbreeding and the cannibalism of the elite there? Well, climate change, clearly.
I don't know, man. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I learned in school that one of the hallmarks about polar bears is they sometimes eat each other.
No, you did not learn that.
Oh, sorry.
Planted in your mind.
It's a moral catastrophe brought on by
climate change, by our actions. Us, you and me, Basil, doing this show right now.
Yeah, again, I was going to say, look, I have nothing to do with the oil spills in Mexico and the...
Oh, but you do. It's the butterfly effect.
I can't even get plastic straws anymore, man.
One day you're throwing... you're using a plastic cup to drink your soda drink. Next thing you know, there's oil in every orifice of a polar bear.
Next thing I know, I'm eating a polar bear. I get it.
And just to kind of tag along with that, Quartz.com, the World Bank... because they're the most trusted people in the world.
Oh, if only I could pay more taxes to save the polar bears, to keep them from mating with their sisters and eating each other.
The World Bank says climate change could displace more than 200 million people by the year 2050.
Yeah, I did say that. I did see that. They were saying that about the year 2020 too. 2020 as well, rather.
Yeah. Did it happen?
Yeah, the ice caps were supposed to melt in 2017.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, what's going on? Apparently, whatever we're doing is working. I haven't really changed much, and things seem to be getting better.
I don't know about the World Bank.
Keep pushing off the schedule. Yeah, well, there you go. Why is it's the World Bank? Yeah, let's monetize this.
Yep.
And again, pay more taxes, people.
And speaking of cold places,
where are the aliens?
Aliens.
We figured it out, Basil. The story no one's talking about. TimesNowNews.com.
Times Now News.
I had to double check to make sure it wasn't parody. Apparently it's not, although there's some ironic aspects of their about page. But anyway, headline, penguins, quote, might be aliens. Scientists say after discovering Venus chemical in birds' droppings.
What? Read that again?
Penguins might be aliens, scientists say, after discovering Venus chemical in birds' droppings.
I think they're onto something, Gons. If anything was going to be aliens, penguins is aliens.
No, the birds aren't real. They're all government drones, so maybe.
The penguins have really been a population seeding project by the Venetians.
Their distinctive wattle and black and white coats make them one of the most adorable creatures in the world. You can look at their look at the moving in packs for hours and wonder what they're up to. But something about them might be otherworldly. At least that's what scientists are saying. Science. It is speculated that penguins could be aliens after scientists found traces of a chemical in their droppings that is also found in the planet Venus.
Okay. Does it tell us what this chemical is?
The researchers from the UK were able to find traces of a chemical known as phosphine in the bird's poo. It has raised widespread speculation and questions about the origins of penguins because scientists are now struggling to explain how phosphine exists on Earth, 38 million miles away from Venus. After the study, scientists now believe penguins could help them identify different types of organisms that exist in other worlds. Penguins are the missing link to the aliens.
I don't even know what to say about this. This is crazy.
To know more about the chemical traces, the scientists are now planning to study the lifestyle of gentoo penguins, which are common in the Falkland Islands. Quote, we've convinced the phosphine finding is, we're convinced the phosphine finding is real, but we don't know what's making it. There are some anaerobic bacteria that produce phosphine. It's found in pond slime and the guts of badgers and penguin guano.
Okay, yeah. So it's not just other places on Earth made by other animals, but they must be aliens.
Dr. Dave.
This is just some penguin researchers trying to get their funding.
That's what I was going to say. That's ding, ding, ding. They're like, we need to travel to the Falkland Islands. How do we do it? We'll just say we found a thing that suggests penguins are aliens.
Hey, the Falkland Islands are kind of nice. I've been there. It's a great place. If all I got to do is say I found some alien penguins and I get a year worth of income to go live at the Falkland Islands, I could do that. Maybe I should do that. Hey, penguin scientists, hit me up.
Quote, it may be due to what? It may be to do with defense or signaling against competing bacteria, he added. In 2020, traces of the chemical were found in layers of gas surrounding Venus, which has a similar atmosphere to Earth. According to reports, the research on penguins and phosphine is being done ahead of the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope. It will be unveiled from French Guiana on December 18th, according to NASA. It will be able to detect life on other planets. Here we go. The telescope will study deep space and serve as NASA's main observatory for the coming years. Sounds like a NASA lie too.
Gotta keep the money going, man. Gotta keep the money flowing.
They can just really ride the
penguin
we're gonna find penguins.
Is the perfect animal to use as this as well. They're just so weird. They're so mysterious, and they're so cute. Very fundable. If you're looking for a fundable animal to research, penguins are probably the most fundable.
Fact checker bot in the chat makes a good point. The average temperature on Venus allegedly is 864 degrees Fahrenheit. So they left Venus and they're like, we got to cool off, man. We got to get to a real cold place.
Yeah,
forget this 864 degree weather. It's just too much. If we're going to Earth, we're going to a cold place.
I like this ending the show with this penguin story, because one of your Nephilim updates a few years ago was the Nephilim penguins.
That's right.
They found the bones or something of like a 12-foot tall penguin.
That's right. Yes, it's all coming together.
So maybe the ancient penguilians came from Venus, and they were watching over the human race, and they decided to escape to the coldest areas on Earth to stay away from the crazy humans. It's not the craziest theory I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's all coming together. Where's my ISO of that one? I think I have it here somewhere.
Do you? Do you really?
It's all coming together.
There it is, Kronk. There you go.
All right, well, we got to get you out of here, Gonz. You got stuff to do.
I do.
Are you done? Or did we do a show?
I think we did a show, yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Friday. That's September 17th, baby. Friday the 17th. So make sure to tune in. And remember, you can produce the show on Friday. Well, not more. It's more than just you can. Please consider producing the show for Friday, because we can only keep doing the show with the continued support of not just our return producers. Of course, they are an integral part of it. But hey, maybe you're out there. Maybe you are like our executive producers today, Brad and Trista. Maybe you've been listening for a while, listening for a year or two, and you've never produced the show. Please consider putting some value back in. It's the only way that the show can continue, is by the continued producership of you, dear listener. And I do want to thank our producers for this episode, 389 of Canary Cry News Talk. That is our executive producers, Brad and Trista, our associate executive producer, Sarah P., and our new producers, David E., we got Jack V., we got Gail M., Sir Samon's the Knight of the Fishes, Big Tank, Scott K., Sir Casey the Shield Knight, JC, Aaron J., Juan A., Platypus Lady 44, Heather Russ, Heather and Russ, thank you very much. Adam 42, Brant W., Veronica D., Marcy T., Runk Smash, and Ciara. And of course, thank you to the rest of the production team, our timestamper Jade Bouncerson, our jingle makers, and our artists, all of which are combined to create our international team of producers who keep this show going. And you can be a part of it. You can be a part of it in so many ways. First of all, if you haven't done it yet, please consider supporting the show financially and becoming a producer. You can do that by heading to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. Go there. Become a producer. It's a good time. But if producing the show financially is not in the cards for you, we totally understand. We know how it is. You can support the show in a lot of ways. If you're a creative person, you can create art or jingles or music or whatever you do. Create it for the show. Buy the show. We'll feature it on the show. We love to do it. You can send your work to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com or CanaryCryRadio@protonmail.com. Two wonderful options. You can also support the show by sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your family, sharing it on your social media, texting it to, the Democratic robo-text database when they, text you to see who you're going to vote for. Just text them link to the show. Whatever you do, it helps a lot just to get the show out there. You never know who's looking for a new source of news analysis and deconstruction who could benefit from the show. You can share it. You can also share it in more creative ways. You can download the podcast onto your phone, put your phone on the ground, roll over it with a steamroller, and then sell that steamroller on Craigslist. You'll make a little bit of money, but then some construction company out there, they will use that steamroller to, create more roads, lay some foundations for, some prisons or highways or something. And the podcast will seep into the very fabric, the very foundations of the city being built around you. And then in the dark of night, when everything is quiet and everything is settled down, if you listen closely, you can hear the sounds of Canary Cry News Talk rising up from the concrete beneath your feet. That's one great way to share the show. But if you want to do it easier, you can just send it to somebody. You got friends, you got family that are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And they will thank you someday for introducing them to the cool new Canary Cry News Talk life that they can live. That's right. We like to call it rattling cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
I don't think so. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 389. We're getting into 390. 10 episodes to go to hit 400.
So close. We're going to have to do something cool for 400. Maybe some sort of producer special or something.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Oh, no. Tim and Andrew are moving to Oklahoma?
Why is that bad?
Because they're leaving me.
Yeah, they're getting out of California, man.
They don't live in California.
Sane people. I know they don't, because they're smart. They're out of there.
Well, I don't think they ever lived in California.
Yeah, but that's not the point. You're missing the point. You need to get out of California.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Run for the hills. The Newsom Wins is coming for you. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Give me a break.
Everybody loves waffles.
I wrote the bill. Feed him more. Screw your freedom.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
Stink minority. Stink
I'll
minority.
keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. I wrote the bill. You in my people's zoo. Feed them more. I'll keep the cameras on.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.